on your end, but I see a little square on mine. It says live, and that means we are. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pin to Gas podcast. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I have such a special podcast tonight. It's an absolute honor to sit down with the legends himself, Ricky and Jackie K. But before we get into this, this episode is sponsored by Next Level Financial. Take control of your financial future. Get your free complimentary financial analysis today by Seth Starnes. And he also does, he has another company called Next Level Suspension. So you get a 2-for-1. He's an absolutely amazing human being. Most people know who they are over here in the paddock. So give him a shout, and he'll get you set up. And another thing I tell everybody, Ricky and Jackie, is listen, we work hard for a living. Don't spend your money on an off-the-rack suit. For 90% of us, it's not going to fit you correctly, right? So when it don't fit you correctly, it causes all kinds of issues on the motorcycle and off the motorcycle, right? You think it feels good because your adrenaline's pumping. It's your first suit. You're like, yeah, look at this. I look good, right? But you have no movement on the motorcycle. You absolutely don't want that. You guys need to go to bisontrack.com, sign up for your full custom suit. You see mine right here in the background. You pick the logos, the colors, the whole nine, perforated, kangaroo, yada, yada, yada. Super simple to do. Robert and Tasha and Carter are some of the most amazing people you're ever going to meet in the paddock and outside the paddock. And trust me, you will thank us later. Bisontrack.com. They got a Black Friday sale going on. Again, treat yourself, especially if you love to ride. And when you finally get that custom suit and you put it on, you're going to be like, I should have done this years ago. And you will thank me later. But ladies and gentlemen, Jackie and Ricky K, what is up?
Woo-hoo. I think that's awesome that you have a financial bit for your sponsorship, because let's face it, racers, we make poor financial decisions.
Right. I mean, we can say here, this is a whole nother podcast. How many credit cards you've been through and in debt, right? Like my wife would be pissed, right? But yeah, it is, you know, so what he does is he has his own financial company, and it's not, I don't like the word financial, because when you use that word, people automatically shy away, right? Because they don't really want to know the ins and outs and all that, but it's free. He'll get you on track. Believe me, things happen. Okay. Unexpectedly. You don't want to be left out in the dry or cold. So absolutely hit him up. It's free. It's painless. I promise. At the end of the day, you will smile. Even send me a message and say, thank you very much. And I'm going to say, it's absolutely my honor, right? And you are welcome, just like the Bison custom suit. So yeah, but let's get into it, man. I've been so excited about this. We had a conversation for a while the other day, and it's an absolute honor. I've been following you for actually quite a while now on Facebook and all that. Dave Thomas and Dave, Hewson and Eric Wilson, all my mates over there. I actually had a conversation with Eric the other day, and we talked a lot about you guys. But
all good stories, man. And we've
absolutely. They were right. So, listen, I want to start off first and foremost. How did you two get introduced to Two Wheels?
Well, you're the reason I did.
Yeah, I got her into it. She thought I looked pretty cool driving down the street on my Vulcan at the time, because I grew up, and my uncle was a Harley guy, so I thought Harleys are cool and everything. And then I was finally able to get a bike. My parents wouldn't let me have a bike. Mother said, well, I had to be 18. My dad said I could get one a month before I turned 18. And, couldn't afford a Harley. So I went the sport bike route, and, it's been a blast. But my wife, Jackie, she actually got me my first track day, which that changed things completely, because we had, I had been a street rider, and I went through sport bikes and got out of it because, it was, let's face it, when you're younger, you sometimes do stupid things and watch some bad things happen and whatnot. Went to cruiser style, but then a buddy of mine got us to go out to Mid-Ohio to watch AMA races. And we had done that for a few years. We used to ride the Vulcan out, actually. We did that a couple of years, and did a parade lap around Mid-Ohio. And seeing it from that angle, like it puts it into I think it's called Thunder Valley at Mid-Ohio. It just puts it in a different atmosphere, and that kind of got me hooked. So my wife was nice enough. She had an SV 650 at the time. She let me ride it for my first track day. And I'm such a nice guy. I made it through the day and threw it down at the last session. So I wasn't allowed to ride her bike afterwards. But ever since then, it's been
I did want a paint job, so I got a paint job out of it. Yeah, I got a lot of parts and a paint job. But I had just put a brand new exhaust on it the week before, and he tore it up.
Ricky, what are you doing, man? Right? Like, listen, hey, Jackie, I've been the same way. I can't even lie, right? So, question for you, Jackie. Do you name your motorcycles? Did you have a particular name for your SV? Because I've named mine in the past. I haven't named any lately, but yeah, I used to.
No, I can't say I ever have.
You always refer to them as a girl, though.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They are my girl or her. Yeah.
Listen,
but I've never named it.
I refer to them as females too, you know, and
I don't know why. But
I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Well, I'm gonna tell you why I do. Okay, this is why I do, because just like all women on this earth are queens to me, right? It don't matter age, color, blah 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 blah, whatever. You're all queens. You see a bike and you fall in love with her and you're like, she's so beautiful, she's so gorgeous, oh my God, blah blah blah. Then you're intimate with her when you ride her and you become one. You take all the body work off, all that beautiful stuff. Okay, and then you see another woman that makes your heart go pity pat, right? And you buy another bike. Okay, so she has a different name, and you got to learn her the same way as you do a real woman. You got to know her do's and her don'ts, her likes and her wants, and all that good stuff, because you don't ride them all the same. They're all different in their own way. What I mean by that is ride them on the street, in the track, right? Because they have their own temperament. Okay. Yeah. They like the way they like to be ridden, some aggressive, some not, some smooth, some listen, you guys know the game.
I'd have to say for me, when I'm riding, it's like I get out of my head and I just have a good time. So it's kind of like my friend. And maybe that's why, it's like my friend.
Yeah, and I'd encourage you not to find too many women out there. I'd stick to multiple motorcycles and not multiple women.
I just use women as the motorcycles, right? Because listen, you could buy a ZX7R, right? Your woman, and buy a YZF 750, which is another woman. Yes, they are both 750s, but they like two different things. They like different riding styles. The way you handle them, the way you approach them, the way you talk to them, the way you make love to them, the whole nine. That's what I'm saying. That's why I refer to motorcycles as women, in my personal opinion. But every woman in this world or planet is absolute queens, right? I have this conversation quite often with my guy friends. I'm like, a woman is so much more natural in everything they do in life, whether it's cooking, riding a motorcycle, driving a car fast, because you guys are naturally gifted as far as multitasking goes, right? But when you're on a motorcycle, you're driving a car, you're so natural, so you're so soft and so smooth. Us men, we got to be Spartans and be the biggest, baddest things and grab it by the horn and ride it and do all this, right? But we got to learn to be smooth. That's what I mean by that, right? Where a woman, when she rides, it's more natural to them, right? And you see it physically on the track. And if not, if you're blind, you need to take your whatever off and pay attention, because they are. So that's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
I've seen that firsthand as my wife beat me in a ground race.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's good stuff. So how did you, Ricky, get introduced to bikes at what age?
So my first experience on a bike was actually on at a summer camp, and they put us on these little dirt bikes. It was probably like a PW 50-ish something. It was some little worn out dirt bike, And I think I proceeded to go through. We were in this field, and I went through this little ravine type hole, and flew over the handlebars, and the helmet came down over my face because, of course, it wasn't a properly fitting helmet. They just shared it amongst 15 kids. That was my first experience. And after that, my uncle, who was a Harley guy, he had a 90cc Harley Davidson, and that's what I learned to ride on. So back when AFM owned Harley, they were into golf carts, all that other stuff. They made these street legal bikes for 2 years. And that's how I learned to use a clutch. And my first time using a clutch, off the back I went. But after that, that I get to ride that in the parking lot, and that was about it. Because my parents, my mother didn't want me. She didn't want me to have a street bike, and I didn't grow up with dirt bikes or anything. That was actually a street legal bike. I'd ride it in an old worn out parking lot because it really wasn't meant for jumps. It wasn't until recently that we got into dirt bikes.
Of course, my mom is I just think that's natural. Even Cam Bobier and all these guys that are, made in well-known names, even their moms at a young age probably didn't want them. It wasn't the best idea to them, right? Because, and I never understood that. I always tell my mom, I'm fine, Mom, I got this, no problem. Don't worry about me. Right now that I'm a dad, I worry about my son when he goes to stay at night somewhere. I'm like, I hope he's okay. I hope he sleeps good tonight. Like, I can't even sleep good till he's home because I know he's home, right? It's that whole, it's like there's a certain switch that clicks on when you finally have a son or a daughter, and you don't realize how much the anxiety and everything, emotions that you have towards unconditional love for this human, right? And you just want them to be safe first and foremost, no matter what, right? Whereas dads, we're just like me with my son, I'd be like, look, I wouldn't recommend that because you could probably break some. Oh, I got this, Dad. I'm like, okay, and I'm gonna sit back and let you do it. And I'm gonna be like, I told you, right? But there's a correct way to do this if you would listen. But that's the thing about a man, right? And the little boy, we're hard-headed. I can do it better myself, Dad. I already know what I'm doing. I'm like,
well, and our determination of what's safe are far different.
Absolutely, right?
As a man, I probably think certain things are safe or safe enough, and as a woman, some people might not. People might think the stuff that we do, the stuff that I do is completely dangerous, but I feel it's all within reason. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of teaching and people learning in a good controlled manner. Sure, you can learn school hard knocks, but in certain areas, that's not a good way. You crack your head on the pavement too many times. It's not a good thing. So I'd rather somebody learn and control. Yes, I'm speaking from experience. I'd rather learn in a more controlled manner, and that's I spent some time getting to do some coaching and stuff, and I really enjoyed that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the sport that are just go get it, gotta send it, and I'm definitely more towards the slower learning approach. But I think that gives you more longevity too.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of doing everything the right way, especially when it comes to two wheels, just anything in life. Yeah, it's a little bit slower progression, but you learn so much more. That's why I'm a big advocate for small bikes, right? I tell my friends I gotta have the 215 horsepower of this and that, blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, for what? You're never going to use it. You're not Valentino Rossi, right? Even Valentino Rossi, when they're on that bike on that track, guess what they do? They dump down the power and the torque to go faster. So what does that tell you? Use your brain. We don't need that much horsepower. We can't even use it anyway, right? So if you're on a smaller bike with 30, 40 horsepower, yeah, people laugh, 30, 40 horsepower. What can you do with that? You can learn body position, corner speed, trail braking, all the essentials you need to learn to do what? Go fast and be safe, right? So
it takes that skill to make a slow bike go fast.
Facts.
And that's a skill that you can learn with a slow bike, but it's much harder to learn if you just jump right to the big bike. Everybody these days wants to go the bigger the better, and hey, to each their own. Everybody's different, but I'm a fan of starting off slow. And I say that I've made my mistakes along the way. That's for sure. I've cracked my head more than once. And even in the past few years when we started doing dirt biking stuff for like training, I jumped in a little bit of the deep end and I paid the consequences with a broken leg. So it's I speak from experience some of the hard knocks that I've had.
And for us, we don't roll or bounce like we used to, right? It's more like a thud. And then everything happens. You're like, oh my God, my shoulder, I'm gonna die, this and that. And they're like, oh, quit being a wussy. You're okay. It's just a broke shoulder. And you're like, I just want my mommy. What are you talking about? Yeah. We all been there, right? I'm not ashamed to say it. It's and then 3 months into it, we're like, I'm still not right. This still hurts. Right? What's going on? Where my son, he's just like, Bing, let's go. I'm ready. You're like, yeah, okay. But you're right. But it's listen, be safe, be fast, right? And doing that is crawling before you can walk, right? Walk before you can run. So same thing. I think with us in the sport, Rick, again, we're Spartans. We've always had that mentality since we were on this earth, right? We got to be the biggest, baddest, blah, 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 blah. It's hard for us men to put an ego aside and listen and pay attention and accept that smaller is faster. That don't commute naturally. Let's just be honest. It don't. For a woman, it probably does. But for us, we're like, what? What are you talking about? I need a big rock. What's your small rock, right? No, I need a big one. Yeah, I need the big rims.
The women are a little smarter sometimes. Us men,
I'm glad this is recorded.
Like we're. Yeah. Oh man, this game.
We just made history. We just made history on the podcast.
Now he just has to say I'm right, and we're golden.
But as men, like we're. Racers especially, and I consider, obviously I do race. I don't always consider myself a racer, but I am at times. But as racers, like you want to go out, you want to be number one. That racer mentality, and that's sometimes it's all right. Sometimes it pays off bad too. It all depends.
Hey, I beat you on a Grom and I didn't even do a race start because I stalled trying to do a race start.
Yeah.
And then we do what? We depend on our women to help take care of us when our like this. And like, look, I come home after get my cast off. I said, babe, I'm gonna need some help with something. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I can't even eat with my right hand. I brush my teeth. I can't do any of that. She's like, well, you're gonna get real good using your left hand then, right? So yeah, right. So yeah.
Jackie's had to take care of me a couple times. That's for sure. It happens.
That's all part of being one with for us that are fortunate enough to find that soulmate, right? That loves each other through and through, no matter what. Nowadays, I find it. This is a whole nother conversation, but to find that true special partner that sticks beside you, even when she looks at you and be like, you're a total dumbass, right? Like this decision was just, what are you thinking? You retard, but I love you, blah, 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 blah. And it's very important that, you communicate and say, I forgive you, all that good stuff that goes along with it. Listen, if I didn't have a wife that loved me and supported me wholeheartedly, I wouldn't be able to do as many podcasts I do. Shit, if hardly any at all, right? Because it's another full-time job. So I get it, man. She, even though there's times she looks at me and you're an absolute dumbass, straight up, and I just smile and say, but you love me anyway, So yeah.
I've been there. I told the story of getting hurt on the dirt bike that I purchased. I went and purchased a dirt bike. Was coming from a Chinese couch type of dirt bike. It was this Chinese bike I had. It was a piece of junk, but you know what? It was a good learning experience. And I went and got a purpose.
And I'm pretty sure I was like, yeah, you shouldn't get that dirt bike.
Yeah, I went and bought this KTM. It was used, but it was bigger. I didn't go small. I went a little bigger. I had my excuses why I thought it would be okay. Got a 250 two-smoke XC Enduro. Picked it up on Friday. And Saturday, I texted my wife, this thing's awesome. I'm having a blast ride around our house. You know, we have some fields and some woods that I would ride in at the time. And a few hours later,
what did I say?
I think she said, "Don't do anything stupid."
Mm-hmm.
And a few hours later, after hobbling, and thankfully God allowed me to get out of the woods by myself because I had a broken leg, and got to the shed and could not go any further, and I had to text her home from work. Yeah. I've been there. I've been exactly where you're talking. But you know what? She still supported me and looked after me. And you know, for us, it's a team. I mean, we do this stuff together. You know, we even from back in the days when it was just me doing track days before my wife rode, we've always done this as a team. When we went out to Pikes Peak, it was kind of funny. So in 2019, I got to ride Pikes Peak. This was it was the last year. It turned out to be the last year that they ran motorcycles there. And funny story, we went to registration, and they're asking us. They push us this piece of paper and say you need to put your crew down. And I had already done stuff online, so my wife's name was there. So I slide the paper back. And they're like, "You don't have any crew." Like, you would have thought we were aliens, like green or something, because they're looking at us with these eyes, like, "You don't have any crew." I'm like, "No, it's me and my wife." So somebody had nicknamed us a team of two at the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it's been for us. I mean, you know, track days, racing, the whole works. It's always. I mean, I don't ride on the track unless my wife's there. I mean, even the motocross track. You know, the guys tease me at the dirt bike track, but you know, and I'll just joke back. You know, you guys aren't going to pick up the pieces when I do something stupid. You know, we've always done that as a team. To me, it's important, especially with the more dangerous stuff that we do. Let's face it, the reality is real road racing is dangerous. So we have to be on the same page. That's the only way it can work good for us.
It's beautiful what you have and what you guys share. You know, again, it's so important in life, period, to be with the right partner. Okay, no matter if it's soccer, football, skydiving, base jumping, whatever it is, right? You got to have that love and support. And what I would tell my friends is, yeah, but after this session, I get this bomb ass food I'm getting ready to eat, and what are you going to eat, right? You ain't got nobody cooking for you, so yeah, no, you can't have this. Yeah, so yeah, it's absolutely detrimental in all walks of life to have that, right? I definitely want to talk about Pikes Peak, the Mannix GP, the real road racing. Everybody knows real road racing is my absolute favorite over MotoGP, yada yada yada. There's nothing like it in the world. There's nothing that I'll never forget the first time I seen a TT on a VHS tape that my buddy's uncle, because he knew I was really into motorcycles. You ever heard of the Isle of Man TT? I was like, yeah, but I never watched any of it. He's like, dude, check this shit out. And I was like, glued to the TV. Dude, the world could have ended, and I'm like this. Right? Like, okay, whatever. I'm good. Yeah, ever since then, it's been the best thing ever. Like the emotions I get, the anxiety, the build up, the anticipation. There's nothing like it. Yes, I still get that at short circuit racing, right? Don't get me wrong. I got so many friends around the world that races, and it's nothing but love. I cry when they win. I'm sad when they don't, right? That's how I am, because I'm emotionally invested, because I believe in them, right? And I love every single one of them, men and women. But when it comes to real road racing, it's like a different league. You know what I mean? It's there's so much on the line, and people can say that in short racing, but it's not the same at all.
For me, a big difference was when I first saw it. You know, because it's one thing to to watch and to sit back from the other side, whether that's on the sidelines, whether it's in video. For me, a huge difference when we first went to the Isle of Man for a newcomers weekend, and to be on some of these roads, not on a bike, in a car, and to see this stuff firsthand. It was like, I'm going to be going, how fast coming down here? It's, I mean, it's definitely intense. And even now, I'm not really an emotional person typically, but I can tell you, come race time, stuff like that, I definitely am. And not so much at the short circuits anymore. I mean, here in the States, we just have, and it's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's different. It's not the same.
It's not, I never said this before live on a podcast, but one of my life dream goals, I have said this, is that BSB is my favorite short circuit racing in the world. It's British Superbike racing. But when I finally got to Heathrow Airport and I got to my hotel, man, I sobbed like a little girl. Like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm here. I'm here, right? And I was like, dude, if anybody sees me, they're going to be like, dude, you're a freaking baby, dude. Like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, you don't understand the emotions when you finally get to do something you always wanted to do. You always wanted to see. You always wanted to go, right? Same thing with the TT. I will be there. Listen, this is where I'm at. And I'll bring my wife in here. She'll tell you right now. I said, listen, if I don't never make it to the TT in this lifetime, which is absolutely on my bucket list, but let's just say after this podcast, I drop dead. Cremate me, buy a plane ticket, go straight out to the TT, and I don't care what corner it is, put me right there and go home. I'm fulfilled. I'm happy. That's it. Game over, right? That's how much it means to me to finally go to the TT, and I will 110%. One way or another, mark my word, Simcoe will be there. So
hopefully you get there before that.
Hopefully this is the goal, right? Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. We actually got a comment. Brandon, what is up, Brandon? Brandon Mead. He says, "What's up, everybody? You guys know Brandon Mead?"
Yeah.
Yeah. He's from the dirt bike track we go to. Yeah. Brandon's all right.
I love it. I love it. He says, "I would you help me? LOL. I got a wreck." Okay, sweet. I love it. Right? Yeah.
Dude, start training.
Facts. It's time to start. It's never too late, people. It's not. So, listen. Talk to me about what made you decide to say, "I want to go to Pikes Peak and race." Right? Because that's like kind of unusual for people to say, "I want to go to Pikes Peak." Same thing with the Mannix GP, same thing with the TT, right? But we'll get into that.
I didn't even know Pikes Peak existed until you came to me with this idea.
Yeah, I would tell you, it was a little bit the other way. I went racing because I wanted to go Pikes Peak. Mm-hmm. So Pikes Peak was something that I always thought was neat, but not really in the realm of something I could do. When they fully paved it, though, in I guess that would have been like 2012-ish, somewhere around there, to 11, somewhere around there. It opened it up to a whole new category of bikes, and that piqued my interest. At the same time, we had been doing track days for some time by that point, and I was getting I might be getting a little bit more aggressive. Track days, not in a bad way, but just riding, personally riding, getting a little bit harder on my riding. And I had some people that were kind of pushing me to go the racing route. And I'm not really a racer, but what drove me to go racing?
No, you're a legend. There's a difference, bro. Come on, man. Get it. Keep it real.
You want me to move over so your head can fit in there?
I don't get me wrong. I've had my times where I have that racer mentality and I push. Mm-hmm. Usually when I get too aggressive, I wind up packing up my stuff because something went wrong. And, now I've got a bunch of repairs, physically and mechanically on the bike, things go wrong. So that's why I say I'm not that, overly pushy guy.
No, but watching you during a race day, practice is one thing, but once the race comes, you always go a little faster.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that you're out of control, but it's just different mentality when you're racing versus even practice at a race.
It drives you that little bit. But having the desire to go to Pikes Peak, so I knew of the TT, I knew of Isle of Man, and I'm not great on history and all that stuff, but I've known about that since, I guess probably right around when I was graduating high school. Probably I never had the Duke video sent to my house, so I'm not quite as big of a fan. But, it was something that I knew about, but to me that was unobtainable. Where Pikes Peak was something that Yeah, it's not considered a road race, but it's a road and you're racing it.
Mhm.
Just happens to be from the bottom of, from here to the top. And that was my desire. To me, there's a big personal challenge. Like Pikes Peak, that it's a time trial. It's you and your machine, or you and your team and your machine, and that drives me more so than going bar to bar with a bunch of other people. So that was what started the whole, okay, let's give racing a go. So we started racing with CCS. My first race would have been Memorial Day weekend at Summit Point, West Virginia. And that would have been like 13 or 14, one of those years. And things just kind of progressed from there. I spent a few years as an amateur, and it was fine. Had a great time, but in order to go to Pikes Peak, you had to have an expert license to put in your application. So that was my goal. I've never cared about winning championships. I don't care about podiums too much. I mean, it's kind of neat. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that isn't what drove me. In 17, I was finally able to make expert. Maybe not exact way I wanted to, but it still worked out. I had a really good first half of the season and had enough points, and then had a rather a tougher crash. Not too bad physically, but financially. It sets back. I didn't get to ride my race bike for the rest of the year.
That was your worst crash you'd ever had at that point, though.
Yeah, probably. We're not the type that go in debt. I might joke around about financial stuff, but we're not going to go in credit card debt. We're going to work everything we can, but we're not going to put ourselves in a financial bind like that just to go racing. So like it was a big
people. Yeah. I can get one more credit card. Yeah, I could get this credit card, pay off that credit card, this credit card.
That's what we were talking about racing before you did it. I mean, that's what we were told. That's why people come in real hot, they make it a year or two, and then they're out because that's what happens. Is what we were told.
So for us, it put a huge damper, but thankfully, I had done well enough in the beginning half of the year that I had the points. And I had some conversations with CCS, and they're like, well, you're going to get at the end of the year. You can either take it now, you can take it at the end of the year. I said, well, I'll take it now because it just puts me one step closer to being able to go at Pikes Peak, because that was the dream. That was the challenge all along. It was going to Pikes Peak. And that was a matter of they changed their rules and you couldn't have clip-ons. So I was a sport bike rider doing road racing. Thought for sure I'd be racing, a ZX6 up there. And, I guess it was a year or so before that, they had changed the rules to only upright style handlebars. So then it was a matter of, okay, we need to figure out what we're doing. And, again, we're not, everybody's rich in their own ways. We don't have a ton of money. So it was a project for us. I didn't want to build a bike in the beginning of 2019 and go to Pikes Peak right then. I'm the type, I wanted seat time. I wanted experience on it. So basically in 18, we bought a bike. You burnt
yourself because then you put me on an FZ07, so we ended up buying.
Yeah, that's right.
To buy 2 bikes.
She got a bike because I had to get a bike.
You did it to yourself.
It's tough to keep up with. I mean, I got an FZ09, and she had to get an FZ07.
I would have never thought to sit on the FZ07. You said, go sit on that bike. I think it will fit you good. And it did.
Jackie,
try it on, not take it
home. Right? Yeah. And here we are. So, question for you, Jackie. Do you notice a different energy level in Rick versus like practice and race day?
Oh, definitely. Even just practice on race day, he's different. And he'll tell you if he has a rabbit to chase, I think that's the way you say it, rabbit, he'll go faster, and he will. If you're watching him, like I'm probably more competitive than him, even though I'm not the one riding. I've got timing things I'm watching what's going on out there. So I can definitely see the change in everything when he's actually racing versus practice or a track day.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he goes above his head very often. Not that he hasn't ever done it, but I don't see him do that very often. And he's more humble than he probably should be sometimes. Like that year he talks about that he had all the points. One of my favorite stories from that year is, I forget what race it was, but he got this plastic silver trophy cup. It was some championship he won.
It was an ASRA
race. But I'm watching, and if you win, you have to go through a weigh. You have to get your bike weighed. So I ran all the way back to the pits, grabbed a stand, ran all the way back to meet him when he came off. And this was a far distance. And I'm huffing and puffing, and he comes off. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You won first place." He's like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "Yes, you did. Get in line. You have to be weighed." He had no idea.
We were mixed in with experts. I was still an amateur, so I don't. I'm just out there racing. I'm having a grand old time. I had a good battle, and it was a nice surprise.
I love it, dude. I love it. So Dustin Richards, he's a good bait of mine. I don't know if you guys know Dustin. He sidecar. He also does road racing. Daytona.
Sidecars.
Yeah, I love. So this is a whole other story with sidecars, right? But Dustin says, "Hi everyone, happy brappy holidays. You too, Dustin, and nothing but love, my friend." To me, dude, I tell everybody, the solos at the TT or the Northwest or the Macau, or dude, I go back as far as Estonia and yada yada yada, right? Oliver's Mount, dude. I can see you talk about road racing all day long, real road racing. It's there's nothing like it in the world, okay? But as I tell people, it's not the solos, it's the monkeys in the sidecar. They always look at me weird because they don't really know. They're like, "What do you mean a monkey?" I'm like, "Bro, that's the name of the position, is the monkey in the sidecar." They're like, "What's a sidecar?" And I'm like, "Dude," so I Google it and I'll show them the picture and they're like, "Holy shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And like the whole time they have no idea. Well, they know where they are on the track. They're not looking because they're just ducked down, putting the weight over here, sliding over here, doing this, hanging completely all sideways like this, doing the best Jorge Martin impression, dragging shoulders and elbows and all that good stuff, right? To me, them are the most mental challenging people I've ever met before in my life, right? And I mean that in a good way, and I love every single one of you. But yeah.
Oh, there's something. I mean, there's something a little not right in all of our heads. We're all different, but the sidecars are definitely a world of their own. We've gotten to see them, live a few times when they used to come to Summit Point. In fact, Jackie almost got a ride. Unfortunately, that guy, his car broke down. But it was wild to see him. Like, you'd see one guy come around and no monkey. And the next lap around, like, he lost his monkey in the infield down at turn 6 on Summit, Maine. And the next lap around, he takes a little bit longer, and he's got the monkey back on. Like, if I were to fall off, I don't know if I'd jump right back on like that. They're wild. That's something that's on Jackie's bucket list.
Yep. I found a way to rent them.
Yeah, she'd really like to give it a try. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about it. But it would be, if it can work into our schedule. We'd like to give it a whirl.
Georgia. Yep.
The mature side of me, and the mature side doesn't come out all too often, normally. But the mature side, and part of what makes me a little nervous is, with both of us on the sidecar, if it goes wrong, who's taking care of who at that point? Like right now, if I'm the one that usually does the dumb stuff, and if I get injured, Jackie's there to help me out. If we're both injured, who's going to take care of our dogs?
No, I think who's going to take care of you listening to that?
Possibly.
Hopefully it'll be opposite ends, right? Where like your right arm and her left arm are still good. So you can feed her and she can feed you. And trust me, it'll absolutely work out. Look who just showed up. My boy Rossi. What is up?
What's
up?
What's happening? How you doing?
After your podcast, go to your car and get some quarters out of your coin.
Yeah, I mean, my keys out there on my lunchbox. Just go out there and go. You know where I keep my change at? If I have any, it'll be out there. You can go get it.
No, but I'm gonna do it together.
Okay, we can do it together.
I have $16 basically dollars right now.
You got $16.
Rich.
He got $16. Let me guess. You want some V-Bucks?
You got the answer correct, people.
But what is that?
I don't ask when he's on the podcast because it just messes him up. But because I don't anymore, I used to, but I don't.
Yes, go out there, go look.
Oh, I'm gonna wait for you.
Okay, you wait for me.
Sounds to me like you're giving him the keys to the car.
Yeah, dude. I mean, absolutely, I am. But he said after this, we're definitely going to play some Star Wars after this.
We grind.
We grind.
We're not stop playing until we beat it.
Man, we ain't still that late. We got to get up early in the morning. Go to
I said like quitting the game.
Yeah, I'm keeping him out of school tomorrow so we can go to Carnes.
We won't tell it. We won't tell anybody. It's not like it's on the internet or anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like this is live. Nobody's going to watch this, Rossi. Nobody knows.
I mean, look at it this way. It's an educational trip.
It is an educational trip for sure.
It is. You're learning finances. You're learning responsibility. I mean, all kinds of things.
Right? Wow. All right, buddy. High five. I appreciate you. Yes, we'll do that. Okay. All right, my man. Hey, go in there and go get your clothes together so I can pack it after this. You only need stuff for one day.
One day.
Yeah, we're only staying the night Friday. We're coming back Saturday. So for you need 3 pairs of underwears, 4 pairs of socks, no pairs of sweatpants.
Oh,
all right.
My man, you heard that right. He's like, oh, okay.
Depends if he's getting a test ride. You might need an extra pair of underwear then too.
Right? No, he knows how to ride. He goes every time we go to Moto America. We're friends with a lot of our friends, but Yandel Medea, big shout out to Yandel and Carlos and his mommy and everybody. They always bring this little CRF50 and Rossi always gets on it. And literally, so being a parent, there's no other place in this world that I can show it with my son and literally let him out the car and see him 4 times the whole day and not worry about him in public. Because everybody at the track loves Rossi. They know who he is, and they're always calling me, hey, Rossi wants something to eat. Can Rossi do this? I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah, absolutely, right? So it's again, our beautiful circus we're in, right? It's there is nothing like it. But talking about sidecars, Jackie, I have a lot of friends, obviously, that race sidecars, right? Like Dustin Richards, Frank Della Renta. I'm having him on Sunday.
Yeah, that's who I talked to about renting it from.
Yeah, I'm really good friends with him. Trust me, I can put you guys in the right places.
He does lessons too. It's like he has a whole package deal, and I'm really pushing Rick for February because it fits in well.
She's working on me.
I'm working him.
Trying to get an extra trip down to I think Roebling Road in February.
My birthday's in February, so
we'll see.
It's gonna happen, right? February what? What would your birthday? February what?
22nd.
Okay.
Is my birthday. Yeah, and I think it's the weekend before.
Bro, there it is, right? Set done. Sidecar racing, here we come. I love it. Rick's like, thanks.
Problem is, we don't have any way to get a sidecar. We don't have any way to get a sidecar over to the Isle of Man, and they don't race sidecars at the Manx.
Yeah.
That's a long way from practicing and getting some lessons.
You gotta set goals. You start them early, set goals.
Have you seen the dirt bike sidecars? They're crazy. I would not do that.
Insane. And they're jumping. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I want to do it.
Yeah. My brother wants to as well. Yeah, my brother told Rick he would be his monkey for that. Yeah. I'm like, you can have it.
Listen, I tell everybody this. Life's too short. Do what you love. You only live once. If you get hurt, so what? Pain, to me, pain is what makes you feel like you're truly alive, right? So, yes, it hurts. Listen, yes, it sucks, right? But man, I feel alive. I feel connected. It's just like this. Go outside, walk barefoot in the grass and in the mud, right? People are like, I don't want to get dirty. I don't want to get muddy, but you feel the most connected to the earth when you do that. You know what I mean? It's weird, but same thing. Pain makes you feel alive. You're like, oh, I hurt. Oh, I shouldn't do that. But first thing I said to my doctor with this, I said, when can I ride again? He looked at me like, are you really asking me this? I'm like, yeah, look, I drew a, I don't know if I get my, yeah, there it says gas with an arrow right here, because that's how bad I want to ride, right? I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to ride.
I feel your pain. After I broke my leg, we showed up Summit Point, and I was still using a cane, trying to hobble the bike out of the RV to get it down, using a cane and stuff. But you know what? It was time to go ride.
I have pictures of you coming down the front steps for us to do a street ride, and I think you had 2 canes at that point.
You're thinking yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to hold yourself up once you're moving on the bike.
What I think is I can't fix stupid, so I just go along with it.
But you know, I love it. You're right. You can't fix stupid, right? But listen, the love and the passion that we have, people that like my wife, she sees the love and passion I have for not only doing the podcast but with motorcycles, right? So it is a I don't want to say sacrifice, but it's something she enjoys seeing me so happy, right? And it's something that's it's hard to explain to people. It's like when I talk about the TT, and everybody gives the TT such a bad rap, real road racing in general, right? Because it's super dangerous, this and that, yada yada yada. I look at it completely opposite to that. I'm like, listen, the men and the women that race at the TT, the Macau, the Mannix, the Northwest, yada yada yada, that is their passion. Like nothing drives them more than doing that, right? And there's something that's so beautiful into that. Okay, it's not. How do I want to say this without sounding like a dick? When things happen, unfortunate things happen in real road racing, I don't feel sorry for the person that lost his or her life, because they did it doing the most beautiful thing and passionate to them. Okay. And their loved ones that they left behind, they accept that too, even though they don't accept that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're there with you. You know, we're showing up as a team. My wife's there all the time. She's in the pit. She's there helping. She's watching for me, waiting for me. I can guarantee it's a world more stressful on her during practice time and race time. And it was that way at Pikes Peak. It's that way when we do the Manx. And we've had some moments at the Manx. You know, this year might have been probably one of the worst for her, you know, as far as mentally, because, you know, I did break down. I had a mechanical issue at the end of an electrical issue at the end of the mountain mile. And communication is very lacking when you don't have cell phone service, or you don't have a cell phone. And I'm on the top of a mountain, no cell phone. The marshals are nice and we're trying, but it's poor service. She's in the pits, but you're not allowed to have cell phones there. So it was definitely a trying time for her, not knowing what's going on, and then even being told at one point, you know, he's on the mountain, the bike's okay. Which, as a rider, I understand that the bike's okay, so we're good. But you know, as my wife, that was definitely a lot more trying for her.
Especially because I knew they told me you were on the mountain mile, but I knew you had issues there where you almost didn't make the turn as well as you should have. So,
but with everything that has great highs, with everything that, you know, is, if it's worthy of putting that much effort and doing it, something that you're that into, not everything goes perfectly. You know, we don't know what tomorrow holds. We believe God has a plan for us, and we're not sure what that is. But we also understand that not everything is necessarily going to go perfectly smooth. That's all part of the journey. You know, if you never face the fire, then would you learn anything? I mean, I can tell you my riding experience, I've learned a lot along the way, and the times I was learning were typically not the times that I was doing really well. I've made my fair mistakes along the way, and you know, when I made those mistakes is when I was really learning the most.
Oh, for sure.
And don't take that the wrong way. I don't want anything to happen to there. I definitely don't, but it's also a reality, and it's something that as a married person, we have to talk about. We have to be on the same page, and I mean, we've had conversations before, and if my wife tells me, okay, it's time to stop, I don't feel comfortable, then it will be time to stop. And I made sure she was good with it. When we have had these issues, unfortunately, 3 years of doing the Manx, we've seen some things that I'd rather not have seen, and it's part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you all know the risk. Everyone out there at the Manx or the TT, or probably the Macau, I've never been to that, but I assume them too. They all know what they're getting into.
Oh yeah.
Just like Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
If you go and do that race and not understand the risks, then you shouldn't be doing it.
It's a fact.
And they make it clear as possible. I know when we signed up for when we did Pikes Peak, we got a packet in the mail, and they were pretty blunt, basically telling you, make sure you have your affairs in order. Like you can't miss it. It's there. You've signed the waivers, and you're okay with that. That's you need to be if you're going to proceed to keep going with it.
Oh,
and for us, the highs are worth it. I mean, the highs are. I joke, it might have been cheaper to do crack, but it definitely wouldn't have been as much fun.
No, and we'd be missing teeth, right? I'd rather knock my teeth out in a road race and smoking something and be like, oh, did I just swallow my tooth? I need to go see a dentist, right? Like, yeah, so I'm with you on that 110%. So that brings me to real road racing, man. I'm not talking about Pikes Peak, right? The Mannix GP and all that good stuff. How did that come about? Obviously, I know there's a big story there. It's not something you can just simply be like, oh, I just feel like going and boom, show up and go, right? And then, how did you and Dave Thomas meet, and Eric Wilson and Dave Hewson and all that, right? So how did all that come together?
Yeah, so we went and did Pikes Peak in 2019. It had a blast. We had already, we had made up our mind when we were leaving, if they were going to redo it, we would have gone back.
Even though we said just once.
Yeah, we did start it. It was a one-time deal. But during that time of Pikes Peak, during that week, we became friends with Eric and Dave. So Eric raced a BMW that year, and Dave and other gentlemen were his pit crew. They actually rode their bikes across country to get there. Wild story that they have. But we became friendly with Eric and Dave. And Eric had said, hey, you ever want to race real roads? I'll help you out. And I kind of figured, that's just people being nice. Lots of people say nice things, but follow through, doesn't always happen. So we had a great time at Pikes Peak, did well, really had a blast. And as the year went on, then later on 19, we kept in touch. And he said, hey, you still want to do real road racing? Yeah. So we decided to give it a go. So in 2020, I was all set to go to Cookstown and Tandragee. And I was pumped. I was excited, ready, nervous, very nervous. Mm-hmm. But then, everybody knows what a wash 2020 became. So for the next 2 years, 2020 and 2021, I had tried to go overseas to race Irish road racing. That was the goal at that point. To me, when I was younger and getting into racing, I knew about Irish road racing little bits. I knew about the TT. I knew about the Manx. Doing track days, one of the guys who really helped me out as an early on rider, he had gone to do the Manx. So, I knew all about this stuff, but to me, it was not obtainable. But it's funny because, good Lord has different plans, and he puts things into place, I believe, that opens up opportunities, and Eric was that opportunity. Eric, utilizing his experience, his bike, stuff like that, opened up the possibility for it to happen. So it was a struggle for 2 years, to the point that we had made reservations at points, airfare, all that, only to be canceled. So for 2 years, it was kind of up and down emotion wise.
In 21, you reached out to the Manx, though, didn't you?
For
some reason.
At the end of 20, I reached out to the Manx because Cookstown had been shut down or at least postponed, and Tandragee same. So I was just looking at all of, well, that simple reaching out to them got my name on the list. So end of 21, talking to Eric again, he said, you know what? New plan. Let's go to the Manx. Keep in mind, during this time too, Irish Road Racing, they definitely have some. There's stuff going on. As obviously insurance problems and stuff they have. It seems like there's definitely some issues going on, and they've had a hard time dealing with the MCUI. Was trying at times, just trying to get the license and permission because we don't have real road racing here. So it's hard to get a background if you don't have it. Going into the Manx for 2022, they were very helpful. Still not sure what the chances were, but, I put the application in, I reached out to them, that's what we were trying to do. And keep in mind, my name had already been on a list for a few years at that point. Which they didn't run the Manx in 2020 or 2021. And the way it worked out, it's kind of funny. Another story where I think the good Lord's just in charge. You have to have race resume to get accepted to these things. Now, I'm not saying you have to be number one everything, but you have to have proven experience. And I did need a couple more. I need a little bit more, for the current year. Had bike problems before the race season, and I had my bike on a dyno trying to get some things worked out. I'm not a dyno guy typically, I just seat in my pants type thing, but utilizing the dyno, trying to figure things out and get this thing running properly, and the bike blew up. Like I'm 2 feet away from it and the bike blew up. And we're supposed to go racing. I was just fed up because it's been such a trying experience.
And it was our last weekend to get the racing that we needed.
Yeah, we need to get results. I guess it was at the end of that month, somewhere around there. I forget the exact dates, but literally, I'm hands up in the air, like I just asked God to shut it down. If it's not meant to be, shut it down.
And then went to bed.
And I went to bed. I put myself to bed early that night.
7 o'clock.
I was so upset. I put myself to bed early. And the next morning, Jackie wakes me up. She says, "You need to check the email. Come on, wake up, check the email." So I read the email. Got invited to Newcomers Weekend. I think we had
straight up out of bed, like what?
Yeah. I think we had 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks to plan a trip, a weekend trip.
A weekend trip
to the Isle of Man.
Yeah, that was fast.
And it was already made clear, as a U.S. rider coming from the States, they do have some. They understand that it's not easy for us to just get there. I'm not going to say they won't make any concessions, but it was made pretty clear. Like if you want your chance at riding here, you need to be here for the Newcomers Weekend.
And we had our airfare. We kept rolling over from 20 to 21.
Yeah, since we had purchased airfare that got canceled, the years before, that helped us out because, we had the opportunity. Okay, we could make this happen. We have flight credits we can use up. So yeah, we went to the Isle of Man for a weekend. It was quite a trip.
Guarantee, man. I couldn't imagine, right? It's like when I showed up to BSB at Cadwell, the crying at the hotel, the emotions, the energy, the just being there was just, it's like, am I in the Matrix? Is this real? Like, I gotta be dreaming right now. There's no way this is happening, and then reality really sets in, and yeah, it's man, there's nothing like it in the world, it's as so my dog just escaped out. Look, my dog just escaped out my room, but my wife.
I was bored too much. He left.
Right. So I got right here. I got Joey Dunlop 2000 on the RC51 SP1 at the TT, obviously, and then right below it is Giacomo Agostini at the TT. Right. It's and I've had them posters for and I don't even want to say how long because it'll definitely give my age away, right? So, yeah, it's again, real road racing is and a lot of people don't. It's not something you could just show up to, right? You got to be accepted and almost be invited, and there's certain steps you got to take to get there. And then once you're there, it's like even more of a team effort than it is short circuit racing here in America, if that makes sense.
And for good reason. I'm glad we got to see the newcomers trip, because I think they do a lot. They put a lot of effort in. They want to pick the right people. And I'm not saying that it's not always about being the fastest. I think they feel you out as a person, but also to get firsthand experience. It's one thing to sit on this side of the world and watch a video. But like I was saying earlier when we talked, you show up and you see it in person, it changes things. And then for me, at least, it changed things again when I actually got on a bike and was getting ready to go. Yeah. Like it's out of this world. And I think the Manx Motorcycle Club, they put a lot of effort in, and really a bunch of nice people that are running that. They put effort in to educate the people coming, to pick the right people. Let's face it, they don't want every Yahoo out there doing it. I mean, it would get shut down if that was the case. Picture going to a track day and watching novice, intermediate, advanced, and some of the stuff you see at a track day go on. Like if you had a bunch of Yahoos showing up to race around this beautiful island, and bad things were happening like that, it's not going to go well. So I think it's great that they put the effort in to help people and to educate them. I can tell you, we would have been lost if it wasn't for Eric. Logistic wise, getting the bike through tech, knowing where to go, knowing what to do. Just the tech requirements alone are different than what we have here because of how harsh the environment is. You're going to pound this bike around a almost 38-mile lap and do multiple laps in a row. Things are going to want to get knocked loose. There's a bunch of things that they do different for tech that you wouldn't even consider coming from the road racing world here. So to have somebody like Eric and Dave being able to take care of that stuff was just amazing. And it was a learning experience for me as well, because Jackie and I are used to doing all this stuff ourselves. I ride the bike, but I wrench on the bike. It's very infrequent that I actually have stuff like that. I pay somebody to do work on my bike. It just doesn't happen often. Come race time, if I'm changing wheels, rain event, whatever, Jackie will chip in and help. It's always just the two of us. Going over there, I relied on Eric a lot, and for good reason. He knows what he's doing. He's prepping the bike. He's making sure everything's good. It took, I think the first year, it took almost all week, and I was allowed to help. I was allowed to, as the week went on, I could wipe the bike down. I think the last day I was allowed to help clean the brakes.
Well, you did lose. You lost some brownie points when you went for the third lap. I mean, you lost trust right there.
True. Yeah, I lost credibility when I tried to make a three lap practice on one tank of gas. Yeah, they made fun.
Did it?
No.
I love it.
We were all cheering for him when he came back, clapping.
Let me tell you how awkward you feel when you're riding on streets, because at this point the roads are open, and I'm riding back on a full-blown race bike in my full leather suit on streets that I don't know where I'm going, because I can't actually go all the way because the road wasn't open all the way around the course. They were just starting to open. So now I've got to go these back roads through Douglas to get back to the paddock. Yeah, it was quite an experience.
I'd have stopped at Joey's bar and had a pint for sure. 100%. Absolutely, I would have done that. How did Dave Thomas get his nickname? What did you say it was? 10 Pin?
10 Pin Thomas. Man, I really hope Dave is listening to this.
We just met Dave this year.
Yeah, so Dave we met this year. Dave has been, Dave is another American that Eric Wilson has helped out to get over there to get to race. Like he's gotten to do Cookstown. I think he's done Cookstown maybe twice. I'm not sure all. But this year was his first year at the Manx for the Manx Grand Prix. And the nickname 10 Pin Thomas came out because I believe it was our first night of practice. Mm-hmm. We had a red flag, unfortunately a rider had an issue. And, so red flag there is a little different than red flag on a short circuit. It's a 38-mile lap. So red flag, you're shut down and you're going to sit there and wait. So we sit around, we wait, and then the marshals come around and pick everybody up. My understanding of the story goes, he got picked up by the marshals, but then he found out that he had a broken or loose clip on. So, and that's, obviously pretty dangerous to ride like that. So he pulled off, I think, at the end of Solby Straight and was trying to get things working, whatever. But, unfortunately, he missed the bus. Traveling marshals were gone and they wouldn't let him proceed around course. So he wound up taking some back roads. Now, Jackie and I have driven a car around some of the back roads where he was. And let me tell you, I can understand getting lost. Some people might.
None of us have ever found what he found.
Some people might just stay put and figure out where you're going. Other people tend to, I'll figure it out. So he winds up getting lost. Somehow, I think it was Connor Cummings' wife.
Connor Cummings' wife, yeah.
He followed her for a little bit, wound up in Douglas. Like he's going to the wrong side of the island at this point. Still lost, doesn't know how to get back with the coast road. So he winds up stopping at the bowling alley, which is where they had to go pick him up after the practice was done. So he got nicknamed 10 Pin Thomas. We think he might have thrown a couple games while he was waiting there. We're not sure. There's no video evidence of anything. So.
Well, I'll definitely ask him 110%. That's awesome. When you said that, I was like, should I message Dave and ask him the story? I said, nope, I'm going to get Ricky to tell me the story live on the podcast for sure.
Yeah, you want an honest view because he might give you some watered down where he wasn't, he did the right thing or something. You want honest. I'll tell you, the amount of fun we've had, obviously it's a blast riding around the TT Mountain course. It's amazing. There's no course like it in the world. But the amount of fun that we've gotten to have and experience we've gotten to have and people we've gotten to meet along the way, it's been great. This year there was 3 Americans with us, me, Dave Thomas, and Stuart Clotworthy. We were the 3 American riders.
Stuart's he doesn't claim to just be an American.
Yeah, he claims to be. He's like from everywhere.
Yeah.
But technically he's American and he lives in America. And then,
we actually got Stuart watching the podcast right now. Stuart, what is up, bro? Leave a comment down below, baby.
So yeah, he was one of the 3 Americans, and
he's gonna say Ricky Bobby.
yeah, he calls me Ricky Bobby, and he's got some funny stories about me too as well. I do like to go fast. Yes, I do. But just a whole bunch of fun outside the racing event as well. I think the Irish, they call it the crack, not crack like US crack like CRAIC, CRAIC, and just a grand old time. This year with 3 riders, Eric had his hands full, and he brought in some other people as well. You had Eric, Dave Houston, Jez and Decca that live on the Isle of Man. George Spence, he's a TT rider as well, just like Eric. I think he has something like 20 years, a lot of knowledge. Grant from up in Shetland. So we had all these great people that we got to meet, and they were helping us out and keeping us straight, as well as having a grand old time through the entire event.
Oh, I couldn't imagine the 3 amigos Americans out there at the Mannix. Just I'd probably end up in jail. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been calling my wife from UK. I need to get bailed out. You know what my wife would say? Yeah, good luck with that. You have fun, right, Mr. UK? Have fun. So yeah. okay, I'll enjoy my time, right? So yeah, I couldn't imagine. I'm sure there's a lot of stories to be told between you three, and I'd love to get all three of you guys actually on the podcast at one time, and hear all the.
that might be a handful there.
Now it would be. I'm gonna work on that. So Stuart, I know you listen to this. I'm gonna reach out to you. So stay tuned, my friend. Yeah, it'd be. And Dave, I already talked to Dave. So
you and Stuart and Martin all did Newcomers together, and you guys did the first year together. You, Stuart, and Martin.
Yeah, so it was three in 2022. It was me, Stuart, and an English guy, Martin Morris, who he went on to TT fame and glory. He was he's a solid rider. But we just had a blast, and different personalities, and all just kind of intertwining. Some of us a little bit more serious, and some of us a little bit more having fun. Just making it work, having a grand old time. And again, it couldn't be done without the help of guys like Eric. Just putting it all together. And we joke he's starting his own little.
You guys call him Dad.
His own little exchange program. Sneaking in a bunch of Americans over there. But it's been a blast.
So when I went over there, of course, my mate Dave was like, "Dude, you got to try black pudding, right?" And I'm like, I'm thinking black pudding, right? American black pudding. Who don't like black pudding in America, right? So I'm like, yeah, let's try it. Full English breakfast. They bring out the black pudding. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is no black pudding that I'm used to. He's like, oh, mate, you got to try it. You're in London, bro. You got to give it a try. I'm like, okay, when in Rome, why not? So, bro, I take the biggest. Oh, I can't do that hand. So I took the biggest spoonful, right? And I shove it in my mouth, and I get about 4 chews in it, and I immediately spit it out. And everybody's looking at me. I was like, bro, that is the nastiest thing I've ever tasted in my life. Absolutely horrible. And he's like, don't look what's in it. You can't look up the ingredients. So, of course, I pull my phone out and I Google it, and I look at it, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, you actually eat this, dude? There's no way, right? He's like, you want to try the white pudding? I was like, absolutely not. No way, but thank you, right? You got me once, you're not getting me again. And then I remember they took me to, because I stayed in Louth, and a buddy of mine that I met, Malcolm Shorter, big shout out to him. He does a bunch of photography. He's awesome at what he does. And he's like, I'm going to take you to my buddy in Louth that has a fish and chip place. So I'm in there, and they're like, what do you want to eat? I said, I want fish and chips and some squishy peas. And everybody started laughing at me, right? They're like, it's mushy peas. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm American. I messed up. I want the mushy peas, right? Yeah, and they were absolutely amazing with the curry sauce. Man, get out of here. Yeah, absolutely good stuff.
Jackie loves that green mush stuff. I don't know about that. You can have that.
I'm with you, Jackie.
I just told Rick, so our normal routine is we get the earlier flight from Dublin to Isle of Man on when we travel in, and we get off the plane into the rental car, do a lap, stop at the Victory, get a pie and mushy peas. Well, I get mushy peas, lots of them. And this year, we've already bought our airfare for 2025, and we have to take the late flight, and we won't get to the Victory. I'm like, I need mushy peas. As soon as we hit that island, I need mushy peas. At the Northwest, I went to the one food truck and asked, can I have mushy peas? And they're like, what do you want with it? I said, nothing. I just want mushy peas.
A big bowl of it.
Yeah, just a big thing of mushy peas. I love them. I've tried to recreate them. I can't do it.
No?
I can't.
I'm going to try.
Not yet. I haven't perfected it.
I love to cook, so I get that from my mom, right? It's cooking, making everything kind of from scratch when I have the time. Let's just be honest, right? So, but when I do, I want to try to make me mushy peas for sure, because they were absolute. I remember I took one bite, and I just, when you try something for the first time, you try to savor it for that first initial, and I was like, oh my god, this is like one of the greatest things I ever had in my life. And I was like, can I get another helping of this? She's like, you're not going to eat your fish and chips? I'm like, yeah, but I need another bowl of this first, right? And then I'll take the leftovers back to the hotel. And so this is one thing that also threw me off. So I arrived in London. My mate, we ate breakfast. He takes me. I take 2 trains, which is weird because in America, we really don't take a whole lot of trains. And I'm absolutely lost. I'm asking everybody. I was like, look, this is where I need to go. Please don't let me miss my train. They're like, you're an American. I'm like, woo, let's go. I'm here for BSB, baby. And everybody's like, holy shit, your energy is just intense. Anyway, 2 trains later, I get off, get in the cabbie. It's hot. Get to the hotel. Walk in the hotel, open the door. And I'm like, oh my God, it's even hotter in here. Are you kidding me right now? Check in, go upstairs to my hotel room, open the door. I'm just profusely sweating. First thing I do is set everything down. I look for the thermostat. And I'm like, there's no thermostat. So I pick up the phone. I called downstairs. I was like, yeah, do you guys have AC? And they're like, hey, you're in the UK. There is no AC. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me, right? And he laughed. He's like, enjoy, mate, and open up your window. And I was like, thanks, mate. You know, and I didn't know what to say. I hung up the phone and I was like, shit. So I called my dad because my dad, he's a pilot. He flies London, everywhere. And I was like, man, they don't have no AC here. And my dad chuckles. He's like, yeah, it don't never get hot enough. I'm like, bullshit. I'm sweating profusely over here. He's like, you're an American. That's what we do when we go over there, right? So it was perfect though, because at nighttime you open up the windows. It's in the 50s. It's nice and cool. I just kept my windows open and pretty much stayed. Of course, I was never home during the day because I was at the track the whole time, right? But it didn't.
That's tough for me. That's tough for me because I'm a windows closed type of guy. So we're actually sitting in on a living room couch, and that's our front window.
Yeah,
the curtains are always closed, daytime, nighttime. Like I'm a windows closed. I like my privacy.
He thinks people want to stare at it.
Yeah, I mean, you know. So it was definitely
you
different.
are cute and all, man, but come on now.
And even in the rental cars, I mean, you know, we always buy the cheap. We always, when we have a rental car, we always get the cheapest one. But even the rental cars, most of them don't have AC. Just open the windows, and you know, on a bike it's one thing, but I don't like to mess up my hairdo.
What hair?
I love it, dude. I don't like to mess my hairdo up. Man, I spent hours in the bathroom getting this thing looking good, right? I don't want to mess it up with the wind, so I feel you on that. Yeah. So I just thought that was like, you know, kind of crazy, and then they told me, they're like, yeah, well, we actually got some hotels on the other opposite side that has AC that we just put in it, but they stay booked up all the time. And I was like, no, I'm used to it now, right? But it just little things like that us Americans don't think about, and then we get over there, everything's just so different. You're like, well, what about this? And they look at you like,
just a clothes dryer. Yeah, like we all use clothes dryers. Like,
wow. The normal thing. It's different, you know. You know, they don't have like their appliances tend to be a little different. You know, typically smaller fridges. I used to work appliances too. You know, like their appliances over there are typically smaller fridges. You know, dryers. If they have a dryer, it's usually not vented outside. It's usually like a condensate dryer, which just don't dry too well. It's just different. You know, it's
but their
nothing
food
wrong
is so
with it.
much
It's just
cleaner
different.
than ours. I would take their food over ours any day.
100%. I went to the grocery store, of course, and I'm looking at their ingredients list, and I'd Google our ingredients list. So I'm like, no wonder why we're so fat and unhealthy. I mean, look at this shit right here. You got to be kidding me, right? It's absolutely insane. And then I go in the bathroom and I use a water pick, right? And then, of course, my electric saver and all that. And I'm like, they ain't got no outlets in the bathroom. Like, you got to be freaking kidding me right now. But one specific that says this type of shaver or whatever. I'm like, what is this? Like,
that's probably because of their health and safety. They seem like they're gung ho on some of the health and safety stuff.
I said, man, y'all need some receptacles up there. They're like, we don't have it. That's against code. I'm like, what kind of code do you guys write? Right? Like, I agree with y'all's millimeter. Y'all's metric system is far superior than our crazy American standard, which sucks, right? But you need to have, you know, receptacles in your bathroom so you can plug stuff in and use it. You know, they have what do they call it? The ones with the buttons that are waterproof.
I mean, there's shit by. They're going to keep you safe, right?
There you go. Right. So why not install a couple of those? It's easy to do. I mean, you can plug all kinds of stuff in and blah 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 blah. I do remember though, man. I had this huge bathtub and a big shower in there, and I look, you know, because when you're in different places, you look like the plumbing's different. Everything's just different, but it's beautiful in its own way. You know what I mean?
Everywhere we've stayed had a place that'll heat your towels. Like you hang your towels and it dries them and makes them.
Yeah, the rack in the bathroom, at least the ones that we've been to, the rack in the bathroom is the heater, like a radiator style rack, but also a drying rack as well.
Yeah, so that's real nice.
Which is great if it's cold enough to turn the heat on, but if it's not cold enough to turn the heat on, then
you still have a drying rack, so it's multi-purpose.
Yeah. I wonder what that was. I never used it, but now that you said that, next time I go, I'll utilize that for sure, right? Because I was like, what is this? Like, I was afraid to turn it on. I didn't know what was going to happen. Again, you don't have receptacles.
I love British TV, so Rick just has to give up the remote while he's there because I watch whatever I want.
Yep, she gets the real deal, not this fake stuff coming over the pond.
Yeah, I did too, man. Like I didn't watch a whole lot of TV. I watched some Peaky Blinders, and I forget this other show I watched. I got a picture of it on my phone. I can never remember what it was because it's actually here in America too, but it's a British comedy or whatever. It was freaking hilarious. Like again, from the time I woke up, I was freaking at either Cadwell Park or Peter Hickman's place, or
we saw more TV this year probably because of the weather than we ever have.
This year we had quite a bit of rain days. Like we rode on Monday was our first, or Sunday was our first night, and I don't think we rode. First session Sunday got shut down with red flag, and then we had a good session on the Twin, and then we didn't ride again till Thursday, just because of weather. So that was, it made it a little difficult, but that's how it goes. Like you can't get upset about it.
Can't control
that's how it goes. I mean, I feel bad for the guys having to make decisions to shut it down or to leave it ride, because no matter what, somebody's going to be upset with it. We had multiple times where we were standing there ready to go, and then you hear this buzz. There's this loud buzzer, or this horn type thing in the paddock. They give you a delay. There's lots of delays. We've learned to be patient because guaranteed there's going to be delays put in. Somebody's not going to move their car, or there's going to be a little rain cloud somewhere that they're waiting to see what it's doing. But multiple times this year, you get all pumped and you're ready to go, and then rain on the other side of the island or whatever, and they got to shut down. But that's all part of it too. Mm-hmm. For me, it's definitely a stressful part because I'm the type, like, I like to sit and relax.
Go to the bathroom 15 times.
Go to the bathroom a whole lot. But then I'm ready to go, and the delays just. They're tough to get around, but that's all part of it. That's part of the game.
100%.
The first year.
Oh, geez.
And my first year was wild there. I mean, on a bike I've never ridden before. My first time sitting on a running Aprilia RS660. Like I had sat on Saturday, but it wasn't actually running. The first time with an engine being on was on Glen Crutchery Road, ready to take off on the newcomer's lap.
Love it.
So pretty wild. And race time came up. Years ago, I got the nickname of Captain Prostate. One of the old buddies from the track, he took one of those jugs that you get in the hospital, and he taped it on my gas tank. We were at CCS races, and so that kind of. That's kind of always been a thing for me. And getting ready to race for the first time at the Manx, I'm going down the road, and Dave Houston was next to me, and I'm just about ready to go into no man's zone. So before you get up to the line where they give you the tap on the shoulder, there's 60 feet or so.
No one can go with you,
and nobody can go past that. You're on your own. You've left your crew. You've left everybody. You're on your own. You have your thoughts for these next 30 seconds. Before you're going to get tapped on the shoulder. And I'm just approaching no man's zone, and Dave Houston was on my right, and I'm like, man, I really got to go. He just gives me a tap on the shoulder. He's like, don't worry, you'll forget about all in a second. He was right. Man had some experience. He was right. I forgot all about it.
Oh, my God, dude. I couldn't imagine, because I'd be the same way, dude, I really got to pee. Be like, dude, don't wait 30 seconds. You won't think about it. You're like, bro, you don't understand.
The Captain Prostate thing, I mean, it's so bad that one time he was doing a race and he's pointing to his gas tank, I guess, and I'm on the side and I'm like, is he telling me he has to pee? And the guy beside me is like, I don't know. I'm like, what is he doing?
Meanwhile, I'm running out of gas. Like, I'm telling her, get the gas can ready. I'm coming in. I need gas. Nope.
I just thought he was telling me he had to pee.
That's awesome. That would be me, right? The same thing. My wife's like but before all my podcast stuff, I pace and I use the bathroom a couple times. My wife's like, "What is wrong with you? You need to have your prostate checked." I'm like, "I'm just nervous and this and that, but it's just what we do, right?" Yeah, it's freaking awesome. So, dude, listen, 2025, you guys going back racing or?
That's the plan. So, we started this journey just like Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak was going to be a 1 year, once and done. And we left and we said we'll come back if we could, which we could. So we went to the Manx Grand Prix in 2022. We'll do it 1 year, and we've been there 3 years now. So end of this year, Jackie and I took about 2 weeks, when we came back, because for us it's something that we have to plan for throughout the course of the year. Mm-hmm. One, that's the drive. Like, you look forward to it, but we need to make sure we get the appropriate results in order to keep the mountain course license. We need to make sure we save money because we're not trying to go in debt. We need to make sure we get stuff lined up, reservations, definitely, like places to stay. If you don't make reservations early, good chance you're not getting a decent place. It's not that big of an island. There's not that many choices.
Luckily, we found a really great place that we've gone.
Yeah, we have a real good place now. But so after this year, we took about 2 weeks, and we didn't make a decision when we were there. We said we'd take a little bit of time, so we took about 2 weeks. We talked about it, and we decided we're going to give it another go. So we talked to Eric, and the plan is for 2025 would be to race the Aprilia and his CBR one more time. So that's what we're shooting for. Obviously, we can't control everything, but that's what our goal is, and that's what we're going to work towards. Who knows what the good Lord has in store for us, but that's what we're going to give it one more go.
If they say yes.
Yeah.
You have to be accepted.
If they say yes, we have to obviously still have to get approved. At this point, hopefully that won't be as big of an issue. It's hard getting into it, but once you're in, it's established, it's a little bit easier. And once you learn the ropes of what you need to do and when you need to do it. So it's just a matter of making sure the year goes, get through the year. And I think we're down to like 250-ish days or something.
I have no idea. I go by months.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like when that's what you want to do, you think about,
all the time.
I don't get to do a whole lot of track days. We will do some track days. I try and
do one more race weekend.
Yeah, I need another race weekend because you have to have races in the current year.
Right.
But we do a lot of riding as far as like at the motocross track, and then the track days that I can. And it's just something like every time I get on the bike, I'm thinking about this is why I'm getting on the bike, to ride the mountains, to ride on the Isle of Man. That's just my goals. I have fun club level racing here. Don't get me wrong, it's a good time. We have lots of friends, and we always have a good time. But even that is done for the purpose of going over there. Like as far as the motorcycling goes, everything is towards the max.
Like this year we did the Northwest too.
Yeah, this year we did the Northwest, which was quite an experience. Not gonna lie, I felt out of place in the beginning of the Northwest. I really did feel out of place, but it all worked out really good, and we had a good time. But showing up to the Northwest and realizing, getting there for the first time, that's one that I didn't get to go and see it ahead of time. We went there, we got there, a day earlier, and then it's sign up and, get on with business. And getting to the Northwest, and there's no support classes there. It's not amateur class. I was selected to be allowed to race there, and I'm going in a race with people like Peter Hickman and other top names. Like talk about feeling like you don't belong, and going to the Northwest, I didn't even know if I'd qualify. Like, I was nervous. I've never ridden around there. I've never seen the Triangle Circuit, other than in videos. And to get there, definitely felt out of place in the beginning, but made progress through the week, wound up qualifying with time to spare. and made progress each time, in the practices and races.
So. I love it. Sorry, I got to use a pen to itch my left hand. Man, my it's itching, right? You know how, because this arm itches so bad. I think it's like that psych thing to where if I itch this side, it'll soothe this side.
Try and help it out.
It's not working, right? Would you say pee on it?
I wouldn't try that, but you can go for it. I mean, like you said, you got to try everything, right?
I think that's a jellyfish sting.
right? Yeah. Funny story. I got bit by a jellyfish one time. Yeah, it was, and I didn't even know it. And then all of a sudden, like, I picked it up and I'm like, look, Mom. My mom's like, what are you doing? I'm like, check out the jellyfish. She's like, you retard, it's gonna bite you. I'm like, they don't bite. I didn't feel nothing. All of a sudden, I started itching, right? I'm like, oh my God. But everywhere I touched started itching. Next thing I know, I look like a freaking crack fiend at this little kid walking around the beach, and I had to go and they mixed this mixture and they poured it on me, and it wasn't pleasant. So
see, and you learn times of trial and you learn. Now you don't pick up jellyfishes.
I stay far away from jellyfish. See the jellyfish? I'm not getting in the water. I know what it's like. Don't want to do it. It's not fun, trust me. So kids, you see jellyfish, not recommended to pick them up at all. 100%. Well, listen, this has been a lot of fun. We're an hour and 30 into this, right? It's like gone by like so fast. Yeah, it is. But I want to transition. Don't worry. We're going to do a part 2, 3, 4, and 5 and all that. We're going to get you and Dave and Eric. Listen, we're going to have a 3-hour block. We're just going to do this, right? Jackie, you too, everybody, right? Because I can have up to 12 people on the screen at one time. But
wow.
Talk about that circus you were talking about. That might be a lot.
It will be. It'll be a beautiful circus and a mega time, as I always tell everybody. But real quick, before we transition into what one of my favorite part of the podcast is, because I think it's very important when people listen that they get to know everybody on a more personal level instead of the absolute legends that you guys and girls are, right? Because as a fan, when I can relate to somebody that has the same likes or taste or whatever, it makes it more impersonable, so to speak, right? So, but the first time I met Peter Hickman, 2 stories real quick. I get there Monday. I already knew HRC was right down the street, and then so was Peter Hickman's place. So I called HRC, was like, yeah, I'm Simcoe from America. I want to come. I want to see John McGinnis's bike and all this, right? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, absolutely not. Unless you have business here, you cannot come in. I'm like, well, I want to buy a hat and a t-shirt. That is business. They're like, ha, ha, ha. Sorry. So I was like, okay, cool. No worries. Yeah, you can't physically go to HRC there, right? Unless you're, I guess, going to buy $1 million bike or whatever. Anyway, call Peter Hickman up. Of course, he didn't answer the phone. His place, right? PHR Performance. I'm like, I'm Simcoe from America. I just want to come down, buy a hat and a t-shirt. I love Peter Hickman and TT and this and that. And the lady, this is what she said. Holy shit, mate, your energy. And this is over the phone. I'm like, dude, let's go. And she was like, I don't know how to handle you. I was like, can I come? She's like, yeah, sure. Right. So I show up and they meet me out in the parking lot, and I pull up in the cab. They run out there. They're like, you must be the mayor. Can I get out? And I'm literally like, whoa, let's go. And they're like, holy shit, this is for real. They didn't tell me Peter Hickman was standing in the side. As soon as I open the door and I walk inside, look to the right, the freaking legend Peter Hickman with his 137, 36 mile an hour BMW. And I was like, dude, just bowing down like, bro, this is not real. Like, absolutely. And I have a picture on my phone of Peter Hickman actually doing work, not riding a motorcycle, but physical labor work. Right. And even they told me, they said, you better get a picture of this because this never, it's like Bigfoot, right? It's an unknown picture floating around, and I have it on my phone, people. And I haven't showed it yet. And there's a reason for that. But before we get into that, yeah, it was just, Peter's just so cool. He was everything that I expected him to be. Cool, laid back, laughs, smiles. Even he looked at me and was like, dude, your energy's intense, right? Like, you just because I was so excited to be there. It was such an honor, right? And I really wanted to meet Davey Todd. He's another one of my all-time favorites. Davey Todd, dude, he's a freaking legend. I just like his personality and the whole thing and the whole dude. He's just awesome. So I was sad when I found out he wasn't going to be at Cadwell Park. So I'm standing, my good mate, Dave Neal, Off Track Podcast. Big shout out to him out there in the UK. He got me on the Superbike grid with the Kawasaki team, not KS3, but oh my God, I can't remember. I freaking can't remember the name right now live on the podcast. Anyway, I'm standing there and freaking my mate whispers in my ear. He's like, "You'll never believe who's standing behind you." And I look at him and he's all quiet, nonchalant, right? And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck he's talking so low for? Like, what's the deal? He says, "Davey Todd's standing right behind you." I look at him, I said, "Man, shut up and quit playing with me, man. Like that's not even cool, bro." Turn around. I turn around and there's freaking Davey Todd. And I immediately was like, "Whoa, Davey, what is up?" And he was like, "Holy shit, dude. Like, you're so intense, right? Your energy." But yeah, we had a great conversation. He was absolutely super amazing. Are you guys there?
Hold on. I just lost sound. Hold on.
Okay. I got you. It happens. You just muted yourself.
Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Unfortunately, my phone died, so you're on speakerphone now.
Okay, sorry. So I didn't mean for it to go so long. That's what happens when we have a good time, right? But I didn't know if you guys caught that when I said when he said Davey Todd was behind me, and I turned around and he was standing there, and I literally just went freaking batshit ballistic. I was like, "Whoa, it's Davey Todd!" And he's looking at me like, "Who the hell is this dude right here?" We had talked, but before on social media, and I was like, "Simcoe from Pin the Gas Podcast." He's like, "Oh, what's up, mate?" You know, and it blew my mind. We're having this conversation, and the thing is, when I talk to people, dude, Connor Cummings and dude Shaky Byrne and all these legends that I've always watched and looked up to, I talk to them like after I get that initial woo out the way, right? It's I talk to them like I've known them forever. You know what I mean?
So they make fun of me over there. Jackie does, and a couple other guys.
They make me fun too.
There's certain people I like. I don't need to say names, but probably one of my favorite riders. He's a TT rider, but he also races at the Manx because he's on classics. Mm-hmm. And
who is it? You got to tell me.
Say it.
McGinnis. McGinnis is probably
John McGinnis is
yes. But I haven't.
Tell him what you did.
I haven't talked to him. So not only did he help out newcomers and all this stuff, for the first year. The first year I was literally at Quarterbridge with him because I told you about how I took a third lap and never got fuel. Mm-hmm. So I went on the third lap, and as soon as I passed, I'm on the gas, and I started heading down Bray Hill, and I'm like, I messed up. Because I know, but at that point, brain fart, I can't make a third lap I don't have enough gas. So choice is to ride it out and get halfway across the mountain or halfway across the island, and then they have to pick me up. Or I decide, you know what, I'm going to pull off at Quarterbridge. And so I pull off at Quarterbridge, and who's there? McGinnis. Broke down on his pad. And he comes over to me, and he says, "Hey, you all right, mate?" And all I could do is drop my head and say, "I'm an idiot."
Bro, I'd have gave him a hug and be like, "Bro, what is up, dude?" He'd be like, "Holy shit, who is this guy? Bro, let's go. Let's have a party at Joey's bar now." Yeah, I would. Yeah.
This year we were standing in registration and literally right behind him. But I don't know.
You just stood there and smiled.
Like a little kid just giggling and geeking, but can't say nothing because you're frozen. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Hickman, my action shot of Hickman working is him working on the bike, and I still have this picture in my mind because he's another one. Like I've seen him at the Northwest, but never talked to him. But I'll tell you when you. I can't say ride behind him because I didn't stay there for that long. But he passed me coming out of McElroy chicane. They make fun of me because I say it wrong. McElroy, I believe it is. I was saying McElroy. He passed me coming out of that chicane,
and just gone. Like there, I got to see a glimpse of him for the next corner or two, and then he's gone off. And like, how are you doing that? It's unreal.
I remember I was watching, man, what's the documentary I was watching? And Josh Brooks was talking about Peter Hickman at the TT, and Peter Hickman, I forget the freaking name of the corner, and Peter's like, yeah, I just aim at that corner like I'm gonna hit it straight on, head on, fifth gear, and just pin the gas, right, and just ride it out. And Josh Brooks says, this guy's fucking mental, man. Like, there's no way I'm doing that, you know. It's
watch him slide in. You watch him slide in the rear into what was that, DJ's the corner. Like he's literally, this is a 6-gear flat holding it, and his rear stepping out a little bit and just on it. It's unreal.
Just straight on. I'm trying to find this picture actually right now with me. So I met actually Hickman's parents too, his mom and his dad, man, and they were absolutely amazing. Every time they seen me wherever on the track or off the track at his place, dude, his dad always came up to me and talked to me, gave me a hug. Dude, he was absolutely like, Rick, I'm thinking to myself, this is not real. Like, absolute, like I show up to I went Wednesday night, hung out with Peter and everybody, show up to Cadwell on Thursday, and his dad's there, and he sees me walk straight up to me. He's like, what's up, mate? And I'm standing there thinking to myself, am I dreaming? Like, is this actually happening? You know, and it was like that the whole weekend. Peter would walk by and he'd give me a big old fist bump. I got a video of me on the grid going up to Peter. I was like, what's up, Peter? He looks at me, smiles, gives me a fist bump, dude. It's like, what is even happening right now? Right. It's
that's something that I see. I mean, you still have some of that stuff even at the club level and here in the States, but the real road racing, from what I've seen, the camaraderie that you have there is just out of the world. I mean, we saw it when we went to Pikes Peak, and then we saw it even more going overseas, whether the Manx or Northwest. I mean, the camaraderie is just it's amazing. You know, everybody's helping everybody out. You know, especially the Isle of Man stuff. Let's face it, logistically, everybody's got their challenge getting all their stuff there and everything. You have to get there by ferry, but everybody pulls together as team, you know, and you know, people helping other people get their stuff transported back and forth, you know, borrowing this, that, or the other thing. It's really amazing. It's to watch.
absolutely. So there's being Faye.
Very cool.
And then, oh man, she was freaking awesome. And there's me and Hickman's dad.
Very nice.
Oh, dude, I'm such a nerd, man. I show everybody these pictures all the time. They're like, dude, I'm so tired of seeing them pictures. I was like, bro, you had to have been there. You just don't even know. And
I'm sure people get so tired of hearing me talk about Isle of Man and stuff like that. Very cool. Like,
but not this guy, because I could talk to you for millions of years about the Isle of Man and the TT and all that. Just freaking, yeah, man. Oh, here you go. Look, and you see Peter laughing. Peter Hickman doing physical work. Straight up. There it is, people.
There's
never
proof.
shown before. There's proof. Yeah. Even did the dude turn around? He's like, dude, you better go get a picture of that real quick because this don't happen very often. So I immediately pulled out and was like, Peter. And then Peter heard, dude. So that's why he's laughing so hard. Oh my God, it was hilarious. He actually gave me one of those garage mats, man. But I gave it to my buddy because I was like, dude, I can't bring this back on the plane. Like, I'm not going to carry it. Like, there's no way I can carry it. And I tried to fold it up and put it in my bag. And I was already overweight. So, yeah, I was like, Merry Christmas. Here you go, buddy. Yeah, so, but I actually bought me I brought back me 2 bottles of Peter Hickman's rum, which was absolutely amazing. Yes, it is empty because, yes, I absolutely drank it. Not going to lie. It was good stuff. I will bring me back a couple more bottles because I want to give one to my pops. He's I'm not really a big drinker, but dude, I had to try some Peter Hickman rum. What are you, the fastest guy around the TT? Maybe it might make me faster. I don't know. It's just the way I think, right? I take a shot, I'll be faster. Yeah, it didn't work out that way.
Someone was selling something at the Northwest, but I thought it was whiskey, not rum.
He's got whiskey too. They all have their own little like It's like John McGinnis has got his own gin and all that stuff. So, but listen,
on the couch, I could bring out show and tell and show my little bronze. What I thought
go
was
get
going
your
to be a
bronze
bronze.
go get it. Go get it.
Oh yeah,
go get it.
It's actually a bronze man, so it was really fun to make fun of him because he's like, my bronze lady. I'm like, it's a dude.
If that's what you want to call it, and you can sleep good at night, I'm with you.
He was gonna sleep with it the first night he got it.
Hey, I wouldn't lie. I'd be the same way. I'd be like, girl, I'm gonna cuddle with this thing tonight.
Oh, he's cheating already.
Let me tell you, I was excited about this.
I would be too, bro. I love it. Oh my God.
It's not a lady, which I still wonder why they call it a bronze lady when it's not a lady, but it's all good. I still like it.
It is. I love it, dude. I love it.
This day and age, you call anything a lady, so.
There's a lot of hard work from a lot of people that went into that. Not just me, but my wife and Eric and George and Grant. A lot of them helping out.
Absolutely. No, so big shout out to Dave Houston and Eric Wilson and the whole Obsession Engineering, man. It's, if you guys haven't had a chance, go to the YouTube channel, have a watch. That actually, you'll see my man Rick right here, and you'll see Dave Thomas. And I was watching it, and I never expected to see you guys. I was like, look at this. My homeboys right here on YouTube, so I immediately hit Dave Thomas. I was like, bro, I just seen you on this YouTube video. And didn't I text you too, Rick, and tell you that too? That I seen you on there? Yeah. And he's like, what? Really? I'm like, yeah, bro, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so absolutely. But listen, we're an hour and 45 into this. I'm going to ask you a couple of these questions, and then I'm going to go and pack because I already got the car, the trailer, all that stuff loaded. I just got to get my clothes together and all that good stuff. But when we get done with this, I'll send you a couple dates for part 2, and I will reach out to because me and Eric and Houston are going to do one together. I'm going to do a solo with Eric too. And then I told him that.
That'll be a good one there too.
Oh, yeah.
Dave was good. And Eric's going to be good as well. He's he's got some stories.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He's got quite the history. I think he's done the TT for over 15 years. All sorts of wild, crazy ideas he has.
Yeah, we actually had a 35-minute phone chat the other day. But yeah, so I told him that I'm gonna do him and Dave Houston together, and I'm gonna do Eric solo, and then I want to get Thomas, you, Eric, and Houston all on one, right? Then everybody could talk about, dude, just the whole experience between everybody. In case any Americans are listening, they might want to, go out there and do it. It'll be a lot of fun. But listen, first question I'm gonna ask both of you is, what's for dinner tonight? I know it's kind of late, but what was for dinner tonight?
We already had dinner. It was sausage and beans.
Like red beans and rice. With sausage, yeah.
Dinner's whatever Jackie makes.
I knew that. Yeah.
She's the cook. I do the eating. She does the cooking.
And it works out great.
Tips their own ways. That's how ours has worked out.
I love it. My wife cooks too. I'm more of the cook than she is. But my wife, it's hard though, because my wife likes a lot of plain Jane food, right? Where I'm like garlics and mushrooms and hot sauce and all this. So I'll make it her way, and then of course, I add all my goodies to the side, and mix it up real good.
Jackie has to mellow it down for me because I've become a little sensitive and can't handle the hot sauce or not too much of that.
That's all right. Because when I come over and I see you guys and we spend the weekend together, I'll bring my own little bottle of hot sauce. You don't have to try it.
You've got plenty of it.
You don't have to. We got hot sauce.
I love it. I'm a big pet person. Do you guys have any pets?
We do. We have Titus. He's our American Bulldog.
Oh, what's up, Titus?
And then we have Shenny, where's she at? Shenny. So Shenny is named after.
Oh.
I always wanted a dog named after what used to be my favorite track, which was Shenandoah Circuit. So we did get a dog, and we named her Shenny. Unfortunately, my favorite track is no longer Shenny, but I still love the dog.
I love it. I got Charlie, but I looked around. She's not in here. That's why the door went open, because she's probably got to go to the bathroom. So, but she's usually right here laying with me. But yeah.
It was tough for us to get on the couch because it started with Shenny on my side here. And couches are really meant for 3 people, not 2 dogs and 2 people.
Especially when they're big lap dogs.
Yeah. Yep.
Titus is 80-ish pounds and Shenny's about 70. So
yeah, they're big dogs, but I love big dogs. It's nothing like them. Let me ask you this: what do you guys do for work?
I work for the Virginia Shoe Clinic. It's a little bit of everything. We deal with comfort shoes that are stylish, so it's for people with foot issues or anyone should wear supportive shoes. But then we also do a lot of repairs, anything leather. I actually got my job because Rick took his leather suit there to be repaired, and one thing led to another, and I ended up getting a job.
They're full-blown cobblers, shoe repairs and stuff. And when you get into repairing leather suits, you need the heavier equipment and stuff that they can offer, and that's how that door got open.
Like we do custom leather stuff too, like holsters, knife sheaths, belts, all kinds of stuff. So
I love it.
And
go ahead.
Electromechanical technician. So I do automation and packaging equipment. Working at different facilities. I work for a small company, so I go out to different places.
Yeah, Bubba, what you got?
These are all my Lego.
Your Legos. So my son's big into Legos. He makes all these like cool Lego butterfly knives.
Wait, this one's different.
All right. Well, apparently I can't work it. Show me.
I have so many.
I know you do. Hang on, I on my book. Let me get this question in real quick, and you cover my book up. Tell us something we don't know about you two.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this one earlier today, and it was
You knew about this? You didn't warn me?
No, I didn't know about this, and I might have forgotten to warn you.
Something you don't know about.
The only embarrassing thing that I could come up with.
He didn't say it had to be embarrassing.
Not embarrassing, I'm willing to share. So. But the only embarrassing thing that I could come up with, for some reason, whatever radio was playing, I was thinking, my first CD, and this is embarrassing, trust me. My first CD that I ever owned was MC Hammer.
Too legit to quit. Hey, too legit. Too legit to quit. Yeah, I know all about that. Yeah.
Thankfully, I've changed. But yeah, that was definitely something that's definitely something I don't present to people often.
What's something that, I'm pretty much an open book, so I don't know. Things that people don't, everyone knows I'm an animal freak. That's probably how I'm going to die. Trying to pet something I shouldn't pet.
If they see you drive, they know you're from Philly.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. I like to roller skate, but I think a lot of people know that. We go roller skating every Monday. Talk about nerds. We're nerds.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, let me ask you this. What's your worst habit?
Me, I can be negative. I like to phrase it as I'm just looking at reality, but really it can come across negative.
So the only thing positive he has to say is to make his negative sound positive.
That's trying to turn the bad into good.
Oh my God.
My worst habit would probably be trying to worry about people pleasing. Try to be too much people pleasing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's bad as long as I'm the person.
Facts, right? Facts. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Do you, Jackie, as my wife reads all the time. I read shop manuals for motorcycles, but when it comes to actual books, I got to listen to them in audio format. Otherwise I just go to sleep, right?
There are up a book and have it in my hands and read it. I have listened to audiobooks. Like if I'm going on a long car ride, I'll do that. But I also listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, so I would do that before I probably listen to a book. I do read a lot.
Every woman I've ever talked to listens to true crime podcast, right? It's got to be probably the most downloaded podcast I'd listen to in the world because every girl my wife does, her friends do.
I would like to listen to the ones where the wives just murder the men.
Yeah, it should make us nervous.
Bro.
Yep.
Bro. And that's why we do what we do at the Mannix and all that. We got to get it in before we don't wake up no more. We got you figured out now. No, I'm just joking. That's awesome. So listen, what book do you or podcast do you recommend to people listening?
Well, no one listening probably wants to read the books I read. But my true crime podcast, probably a really funny one that guys and girls would like because it's a couple that does it, is called Wife of Crime. And the guy is very blunt. He has no filter. He just says what he thinks. And she does a lot of good research, so you laugh and you hear about murder.
Sounds like a great time.
But my books are too girly for any guys that are listening to this. So.
And Rick, what about you? You don't read books or listen or podcast or anything?
Yeah, I'm not much of a reader, so
I did get you to start reading for a little bit.
Yeah, I started reading little bits here and there, but I'm not much of a reader. I have a few books that sit next to my recliner to make it look like I might be more educated than I am. And those books are the reason I know which books were there tonight was because those books are holding my camera up right now. The books that were there were 2 Bibles, Twist of the Wrist 2, and a militia book, which I haven't read.
But you've read all the books of like the different motorcycle racers that they've written, like the biography.
Yeah, like McGinnis book and Guy Martin. I like to do one of those things for when I did read some of those books. Once I read it, I'm not going to go back and read it again. So I would pass it along. I pass a couple books along like that. But really, when it comes down to it, I don't read a whole lot.
I gotcha. Every book you just said, man, audiobook form, Johnny Ray, John McGinnis, Guy Martin, all of them. I've listened to every single one of them. To me, they're all proper mega in their own way. Again, everybody's got their own unique individual journey through life on how they got into 2 wheels and the path that they chose, right? Because every story starts out almost the same when it comes to motorcycle, a father and a son, right? And then it branches off to so many different areas, whether it was flat track, dirt bike, railroad racing, short circuit racing, yada, 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 right?
Off with some whiskey throttle. I was learning something where I shouldn't have, and I went like this and I crashed.
Right, ran through the fence. Yeah, we all been there. Trust me. Absolutely, we have. Well, listen, man, this has been a whole lot of fun. I'm gonna save the rest of these questions for our part 2, so I can get off here and go get ready. And my mini me right here is dying to play. So yeah, look, he wants to show y'all his little butterfly connection.
So first, I'll show you.
Here, you want to put these on so they can hear you?
Yeah.
All right.
So this is my Lego lightsaber.
Lego lightsaber.
Hey, I'm glad you don't give your dad a real butterfly knife. We saw him trying to flip that around, and that would be dangerous. Very
my
cool.
Lego lightsaber.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Then I got like tons of Lego butterfly knives.
So
this one is a comb. I made a comb.
Very cool.
It works too, though. It works. I was using it today at school.
So if you're a Star Wars fan, are you Darth Vader?
Darth Vader, 100%.
Oh, you're on the dark side. Oh, boy.
This one.
Oh, very nice.
I got this one.
And you can actually use them, too. That's good.
Mm-hmm. They're super easy. I got this one.
Very cool.
I also have this one. I have this one for like sword blade. I have this one. Instead of going out like this, it goes forward.
Oh. You can make
Very
cool
cool
too at that rate.
This is the one he was flipping, so it's kind of hard.
That's what you need to add to them, some nunchucks. Butterfly knives and nunchucks.
This is the one I just made.
That's a big
All
one.
right.
And then I can connect it down here, so it's like.
So do you make these yourself, or are they a kit that you follow?
I made it myself.
Very cool. Very cool.
I got some London pesos.
Pesos is Mexicans, fool. Those are British pounds.
I got pesos.
Okay, pesos. That's cool. We can roll with that.
Pesos now.
Right.
I legally changed it. Court ordered law changed it to pesos.
Okay, we can do that.
Roll.
All right. Oh, I love it. All right, Bubba, here. Give me this.
You need one of them long strings so you can walk around your room. See ya.
Bye.
Bro, you need one of them long strings that connects so you can walk around your room.
Yeah, right, I do. But it wouldn't sound as good. It's got to be directly wired to the mic.
It could. You can connect the mic.
Okay. Therefore, you're a
Wait,
genius.
where is it?
So,
You're
yeah.
getting
I don't know where it is.
Who's going to teach you?
Obviously, right? Yeah.
Hold on, let me comb.
I love it.
The comb.
You made a comb.
It works though.
This is what I deal with, people. Right now, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I spend all my time with my son when I'm not at work or a podcast, and we do whether we do Legos or Star Wars video games or watch movies or whatever. So, me, I work at this place called Renaissance Lighting. Before there, I worked for this place called Two Wheel Morgue. It was a motorcycle place where what we did was we bought customer returns from Power Sports, Tucker Rocky, yada, 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 and then sold them on eBay and Amazon. The company went under, but right now, for the past year, Renaissance, we're out here off of 460. We make lighting and furniture products for Las Vegas, hotels, one-off projects for people, stuff like that. We powder coat, weld, all that good stuff.
Can I show them my realistic lightsaber?
Yeah,
please?
yeah. Go ahead, show them.
This is my trainer one. It's not sharp at all.
He's good with the butterfly knives.
I think your dad needs to practice with that one.
See, they're not sharp. Just
Rick said, I need to practice with that one.
Sharp. And then here's my very good titanium metal one.
Oh.
It's not real wood.
Don't get caught taking those things.
It's kind of hard to do it because I don't want to hit the window. I don't want to hit the window or your computer or your mic or you.
Well, I appreciate it, bud.
Oh, nice of him.
I'm nervous because
normally he'd be like, whack. Sorry, Dad. You'll be all right.
No, I normally do it fast when I'm in a small space with a lot of fragile and valuable stuff. So I don't want to break
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Y'all got to be amazed at this lightsaber that we got.
Lights. All right, go grab the lightsaber, and then we're gonna play some Star Wars, man, and go to bed so we can get up early and hit the road. I mean, it's not that far; it's like 4.5 hours, so we're not leaving too early anyway. But yeah, yeah, he is. He's super excited. That's all I heard about. And when I got home, I was like, "Dude, I got a podcast." He's like, "Well, we're gonna hang out as soon as you get done." I'm like, "Absolutely." And then when it's too long, he's like, "Dad, are you done yet? Let's play." Look, he wants to show you his lightsaber. I bought him for his birthday.
Ah.
Because we're Star Wars nerds.
Yeah, we can see. You gotta go with the good guys, though. You gotta come over with Star Wars.
Well, this one right here, it actually changed like 27 different colors, and like Ahsoka has its own Ahsoka color and sound. Darth Vader, all of them. And
I like Yoda.
Yoda, yeah, it's got that one too.
And I don't need to press the button. You see this? This is the button, but I don't need the button. If I like push forward and twist, it'll turn off.
Yeah, it's motion activated. It's pretty awesome.
Like, see, I'm not touching the button. See my finger? You'll see this like light right here is the button. You won't see my finger on it.
Yeah, they see, Bubba. I think it's sweet. That's what a 300 lightsaber will do for you, right?
And
they're
it's set
expensive.
to Darth Vader, like I previously told you.
Yeah, he's a Vader head. I like it. Good job, Bubba. It's my dude right there, people. You guys know, like I said, he runs around the paddock and everybody loves Rossi. So the first time, real quick, before we get off here, I took him to VIR, and bro, he was literally running around the paddock and this is what I love about Moto America, it's an open pit policy, right? Where you can get up and close personal to everybody. He would literally run up and go underneath the, you know how the movie theaters got that line, you stay in line. Well, Moto America has that, but you can literally get 5 feet from the riders and the technicians and the bikes. Well, he takes off running, goes up underneath the line as people are working on the bike. Dude, Jake Gagne and all of them, and tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Hey man, you dropped your pin." And they would look down and get up and just crack up laughing. And I chased him around the whole entire pits that weekend, and he did it to everybody. And from then on, everybody fell in love with Rossi. So every time we go to Moto America, it's like, yeah, they feed them. It's ridiculous. It's awesome is what it is, right? So yeah, he's and I never forced it upon him riding. It's always something obviously I wanted him to do and love, because I do, right? But he loves to go to the races, and he loves to hang out with all his race friends and ride there. But now he finally wants a dirt bike for Christmas. So we're going to go get one. Yay, let's go.
You can't force this stuff. Let it. No. When they're interested, Jackie was the same way. I wanted her to ride the track for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But it was content on the street, and it wasn't. You can't force. Now eventually, she started riding the track, and then it was that was a little bit of a game changer. But it's not for everybody. It's for some people.
No, it's not. You gonna beat me up?
Yeah.
This guy right here.
Custom gloves.
Yes, those are my custom gloves. Woohoo! They're cool. Bro, see what I deal with? I get beat up. I get stabbed with the lightsaber and butterfly knives, and I love it. So you guys will meet him, because I'm gonna bring him down too.
See this? He got burned by a lightsaber.
We got just the place for him to ride.
Well, this thing is hard as a rock.
Well, yeah, it's a cast. Everybody knows it's hard. But he drew a big lightsaber on my my cast right here.
And then he put gas at the front.
Yeah, because I missed pinning the gas. I can't do it with this on.
Yeah, I know. That means you can't ride my dirt bike.
Oh, I'm riding a dirt bike, punk. Now, I love it. Dude, so last time we was at Jersey earlier this year, he pulls up to me on a 50 and was like, "Hop on the back, Dad. I'm going to take you for a ride." And I was like, I did it. Right. And then after I back up about 15 feet, I was like, oh shit, I wonder if this was a really good idea. Right. But he handled me for about 400 yards, and I got off the back. But real quick before I end this, right, this I know I'm going to be in trouble. Where over there where we park, right? P1 Park and all this. And there's girls that are flagging parking people, right? The girls that flag everybody at the park. Rossi pulls up beside me on the dirt bike. He says, "Hey Dad, you see that flag girl over there? I'm gonna take her for a ride on the back of my bike." And I was like, okay, let's see this happen. Dude, he literally pulls up right beside her. He says, "Hey, you, get on the back and let's go for a ride." And she says, "I can't right now, but come back later." Dude, and I was screaming and crying, laughing. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely in trouble. So
have your hands full as he gets older.
Right. Oh, I love it. Good stuff. Listen, Jack and Rick, it's been an absolute honor to sit down and do this podcast. This episode will be out everywhere, Spotify, all that good stuff. I'm actually having an issue with one of my Aquatune that formats my videos so I can push them out to not social media, but iHeartRadio and Spotify and all that. I sent them an email, so I'm waiting on them to reply back. But you can always go back to my YouTube channel and my Facebook Pin the Gas podcast and rewatch the episode, right? Everybody can. But as soon as I get back from the email and I get it sorted out, it'll be out everywhere. And as soon as it is, I'll tag in the post and all that good stuff. So let everybody know that if they ask you where to watch it from, just go to my Pin the Gas YouTube channel, go to live videos, boom. Like it'll be instantly, you can just rewatch it as soon as I end the live feed here in a second. So
Thank you for on. It was a pleasure getting chat with somebody else who appreciates Isle of Man and real road racing.
Oh, it's absolutely the honor is all mine. Can't wait to sit down and have a part 2 and can't wait to meet you guys in real life and have a fun weekend and many more days ahead of us to spend time together. And I can't wait. I really look forward to it because we're not that far apart. We're what, 2 hours?
2.5, something like that.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing, right? Stuart says Rick drives a car like a grandma.
He does. Stuart.
I did have a really slow car too.
No, that's not why. That's not why.
I love it. I love it. Stuart, that's awesome. He says, don't comment on driving Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
One of his friends the first trip to the first time there. So I almost got T-boned killing his friend that we just picked up at the airport. I don't think he ever went.
We had never met the man before, and Rick tried to kill him.
We were asked to pick this guy up at the airport, one of Stuart's buddies. Sure, we got a rental car, like it can barely fit 2 people, but we'll, no problem. So we all cram in there, and we get to Quarter Bridge. Keep in mind, I haven't driven for a long time. And now they're driving on the wrong side of the road, which if you ask them, they say it's the right. But my right is this side, and they drive over here. And we get to Quarter Bridge to my first roundabout. And it was hectic. I stalled, almost got T-boned.
Oh,
poor guy's panicking because
I can't believe he got in the car with us again.
He's going to get T-boned right in the side. Yeah, me driving over there. It's a good thing they didn't give me a driving test before letting me ride a motorcycle around. And that's the other thing that makes me nervous about a sidecar, because I've hit quite a few curbs over there with the rental car.
Yeah, I almost rented a car and then driving through London with my mate, I was like, I would absolutely done crash my freaking brains out 100%, especially in London right now. Outside of there, I don't see an issue. I'd be absolutely perfectly fine. But
I wouldn't want to drive around. The first year we stayed north of Douglas in Laxey, and I refused to drive down through the center of Laxey. And Stuart knows what I'm talking about here because he grew up there. Like, it is too tight. There's just not enough room. So I would take the longer way around, and I'm fine with that.
Right. Yeah, I'd be the same, Rick. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be like, no, I'm cool. I'm gonna go the other way around because I feel safe. Right. Yeah. So, yeah.
And listen, because we always get the cheapest car possible. So the one time Dave was driving the rental car, taking us for a lap, and he gets out we get onto the mountain, and he's got that gas floored, and it's a
Oh man. Yeah, I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go to the TT. Hopefully, I'll make it for sure. I will. But listen, this has been a lot of fun. I mean, these 2 hours and 15 minutes went by like this, right? It's So what we'll do is I'll send you, man. I got your number. I'll just call you. I'll be on the road tomorrow. When I get there, I'll just shoot you. Man, I got 3 podcasts on Sunday because I had to. I had 2 planned on Friday and 1 on Saturday, so I just rescheduled them all on Sunday. So I got a lot of podcasts to do on Sunday, which is fine. You know what I mean?
Before we take off too, I want to say a big thanks. I know you had your people to thank, sponsors and whatnot. I might not have sponsors like that, but obviously I got my wife to thank. good Lord to thank, but huge thanks to Eric Wilson, Steve Houston, George, Grant, all the guys that have been helping out over there. At the Northwest, we have help as well. I mean, I can't thank these people enough for Colin, Colin and his wife Teresa, and Martin. Yeah. As a guy coming from across the seas, across the ocean, and I couldn't do it without the help of all these other people chipping in. These guys are great enthusiasts of the sports. They're coming down from Scotland, from Shetland, taking their vacation just to come down and participate and take part in this stuff, and it's amazing. I really thank all of them for the help they've given us.
I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. I was absolutely gonna give you a chance to give all your shout outs. It's again, it takes a village, two ways, one racer. Just like my mom always says, it takes a village to raise a kid. I'm like, no, it don't. It's you and my dad, right? Like, what are you talking about? But once you have a kid, you totally understand, right? Same thing with racing. It takes a village to raise even a track day junkie, right? Or a club racer. It still takes a village because there's so much that goes into it that people don't understand. Now, when we get to the railroads, that's a whole nother level, right? So, yeah, absolutely. But before we get off here, I got to give my shouts outs too real quick. My man, Next Level Financial, thank you so much. BisonTrack.com for all your custom suit needs. Chef Eats, if you haven't got on Chef Eats, I highly recommend it. It's super, dude, it's amazing. It's easy. Microwave, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. If you guys haven't tried it, you need to. Listen, you go out, we go to the track, we bring a barbecue grill and a gas and a charcoal and all that. Just bring a microwave. We're already going to have a generator. You just plug it up, throw the meals in, and it has all kinds of athlete meals, all this stuff. So big shout out to Chef Eats. All these people that I'm going to shout out are friends of mine that work in the industry, and I don't ask anything from any of them, right? I just want to see them progress and shine and them build their empire, I would say, right? And get a lot of people involved. So Chef Eats, big shout out to him. SFL Mini GP in Jersey and South Florida. It's the best racing program, I think, here in America. That's where all the legends are coming out, right? I mean, it already have come out, like Gus Rodeo, Brandon Posh, right? Avery Dreyer and Ella and all of them, Isaac Woodworth. I mean, the list goes on. And what I love about it, Rick, is that all you got to do is register. You don't have to have boots, gloves, leathers, helmets, bikes, or none of that. They provide everything. And you can even rent bikes too, right? So what are you guys waiting for? If anybody's interested in ever getting on the track or taking their kids and introducing them to, are you 60, 70 years old and always had that vision and dream to drag a knee? What are you waiting for? Life is short. Go out and live it and have fun. SFL Mini GP. Big shout out to RD Racing. My mates Jake Marsh over there in BSB. Vet2 Track. My buddy Jim's got a program called Vet2 Track. His motto is battling PTSD one lap at a time. So if I have any vet friends out there that want to get involved, dude, Jim is absolutely amazing. Again, I said this earlier. You need more than one undersuit, right? Yes, I'm an ambassador for Bison. I love my one piece, but I have a two piece too, right? And it's from 64 Degree Racing. My man Tate made me a custom one, and it's absolutely amazing. So big shout out to him. Ghetto Customs. Anybody out there that wants a custom body work for your Aprilia RS660, your SV650, whatever it is, look no further than Ghetto Customs. Big shout out to my man Martin out there. You guys can go to the clothingkings.co.uk and get all your Pendergast merch out there in the UK. So big shout out to him. BSB Barmy Army, big shout out to him. His program, Shane. Rick, what he does is he'll go out to, like, I'd go up to you, Ricky K, because you're a freaking legend, and be like, bro, you got like an older helmet or boots or gloves or something that you can sign, that I will auction it off. It's a nonprofit organization, right? And then what I do is I take that money and I help a younger kid that's coming up through racing that needs a new pair of boots or gloves or a leather suit or a helmet or whatever, right? That pays for kids, getting into racing, which is an absolutely amazing program out there in the UK. Big shout out to STG, my man Max and Brian Van. Everybody knows who they are, right? So if you guys want to order any parts, look no further than that. Now, I think they still have a Black Friday sale going on. I need everybody to go to Road Racing World and sign up for the Road Racing Fund and donate for our air fences. It's absolutely imperative that we have those in place. Otherwise, the legends such as Ricky and all them wouldn't be out there racing on bikes. Yes, the air fences for short circuits. I get it, but we still need them, right? So go there and sign up and donate. It don't matter if it's $5 or $10. Every bit helps. And thank you so much for doing that. Anybody in the market to buy a dirt bike, which I'm going there tomorrow for Carnes Performance, so you guys stay tuned. I'll be doing a live video there tomorrow with Jason. Best dealership, hands down. He's a good friend of mine. He sells dirt bikes, ATVs, UTVs, does performance tuning and all that. So look no further than Carnes Performance. Big shout out to my man Brandon Cray too. KYT USA out here. If you're not wearing a KYT helmet, what are you doing with your life? Yes, I understand there's tons. AGV, Arise. I got a lot of them, right? But you want a KYT. Trust me, you want a KYT. Bang for the buck. There is no better helmet out there. Like, dude, I spent $1,800 on this Valentino Rossi helmet, right? I could have bought freaking 3 KYTs. I mean, and they're FIM homologated and all that good stuff. So KYT people, and
he supports the sport.
Big supporter. And he's a legend. He raced at the TT and all that too. So again, what do you got sleeping on? KYT. And if you're not racing on K-Tech suspension, what are you doing? So sign up for K-Tech. Big shout out to my man Dakari, Birch, all my friends out there at K-Tech. Absolutely amazing. Yes, they're in the UK. I mean, look, most everybody's riding on K-Tech that I know of anyway. So K-Tech suspension, and big shout out to my man Ryan, ready to race out there in North Carolina. He has a little, it's not a dealership, but it's a motorcycle shop, you know, so he works on bikes, race preps bikes and all that good stuff. And he's absolutely devastatingly fast. So if you're in North Carolina area, RTR, that's the place you want to go. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. That's all my shout outs and all my love to everybody. I just want to say thanks to everybody that watches and likes, subscribes to the podcast. If you have not yet, go to everywhere, I'm not there yet, but YouTube and all that good stuff, you know, notification bell, ding, 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 all that good stuff. And yeah, I love every single one of you guys and girls. I will see you on Sunday when I got 3 podcasts coming up. And I got Mike Spike Edwards coming up. BSB champion coming on Sunday. I can't wait for that one. So you guys stay tuned. And again, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute honor to sit down with the legend, Ricky and Jackie K. Stay tuned for part 2. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. You guys give me 1 minute. Let me end this real quick. Oh, you guys have anything to say before I end the podcast?
I got a quick story about KYT.
Let's do it.
So first year, getting ready to go to the next, have to have an FIM approved helmet. Trying to get one in the USA here was being very difficult. My wife happens to find the phone number because I'd seen a couple online, like supposedly Scorpion. I used to always wear Scorpion helmets. I like them. I know they're cheaper, but they work great. Saw some stuff about KYT and stuff too, but I couldn't find to order one online, blah, blah. My wife finds a phone number. We pull over. We're literally driving through Fredericksburg. She says, you got to call this number. So I pull over. We call the number. Some guy answers the phone. I tell him I'm looking for an FIM approved helmet. Turns out I'm speaking directly to Brandon Cretin. And, you know, I knew of him, but never actually met him before, but knew of him, knew he was a TT racer, all that stuff. I tell him I'm looking for an FIM approved helmet, blah, blah. He's like, what do you really need that for? I said, well, I'm doing the max. So he's like, really? So I told him a little bit about what was going on, told him my situation, told him whose bike I was riding. Eric and Dave were setting me up with. He says, oh, you riding their stuff? Don't you worry about a thing. You just show up and ride. And he helped out with the helmet. You know, just great stuff. I love it to see people help and support the sport. You know, I get everybody needs to pay the bills and you got to make money too. But to see people that are willing to help and are passionate about it was awesome. So now that's what I wear. I wear KYT helmets, not only on the street, but both our dirt bike helmets. And let me tell you, they're much nicer than some of the other junk we had before. Mm-hmm. And I off my head a couple times and it still works well. So
it wasn't art. So
I love it, and you're right, dude. Again, big shout out to Brandon Cray too. I had him on my podcast. You guys can go back and listen. I'm not talking about YouTube, but everybody listening, go back and listen to it. You'll hear his journey, and it was only an hour long. We're definitely gonna do a part 2. Like I said, I mean, dude, we still got so much to talk about. We're 2 hours and 25 minutes into this, right? But yeah, people like that in our sport is our beautiful circus is what I always call it, right? Because that's what it is. Out of the world of all sports, football, baseball, basketball, that dude, we are literally this big, right? But our sport is so beautiful. Our circus, it's such a small, tight group. It's kind of hard to break into that bubble, but once you're in and you're accepted, it's like it's hard to explain. It really is. You know what I mean? There's nothing like it. Exactly what you said. You called me. He's like, "Well, you want to go to the Bandix?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm Dave Houston, Obsession, all this." He's like, "Dude, I got you." Right? Same thing. It's nothing but love to everybody. So yeah, great story, bro. Absolutely loved it.
A lot of peace of mind too, jumping on somebody else's stuff when somebody else is saying, "Hey, you don't have to worry." Yeah, you got to be a part of the sport to feel it. You know, you get into the sport, you're gonna feel that family and the help and camaraderie that everybody has. It's amazing.
No, you will. Absolutely. You know, it's hard to explain to people that hadn't, experienced it yet. So yeah, there's nothing. And that's part of the hook, line, and seeker. You know what I mean? Is that beautiful friendship and people you make along a beautiful journey such as life. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Great stuff. Listen, I'm gonna get off here. I got some packing to do, and before my son comes in here and beats me up with some Legos or a lightsaber or something. So listen, you two enjoy the rest of your night. I will give you a call. We'll definitely set up a part 2. It won't be Sunday. I'll call you like Monday, Tuesday, somewhere like that. And I'll shoot you a text first, of course. I'm not just gonna call you like, "Dude, what's up?" Well, you know what? I will. I'll just call you and be like, "Dude, what's up?"
I'll answer. It's all good.
Yeah, me too. You can call me anytime, 100%. You got my number. But yeah, this has been absolutely amazing, and it's an absolute honor to have sat down and to talk to both of you tonight. Thank you so much. So,
thanks for having us.
Yep, nothing but love to both of you. I appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Hang on, let me end this real quick.